I want to
We
find a map.
dealt with things in the cemetery.
This septic.
Mm-hmm. That you did.
We
You
sneaky
did.
sneaked our way until we couldn't anymore.
Sneaked as much as you could until you bumped into one, and then when you bumped into one, you bumped into all of them.
We bumped into one, all bets were off.
True.
Hands came out.
True. Let's see.
Ah, shit. No, that's not what I wanted. We're currently heading back to Terramarkt.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and there were some conversations, but the general gist of what was said last time, as far as things go, was that there was a soft agree to Hawk's request to help with finding the finding Pandora's box, the Pandora's box, mind you, and there was also a slight teasing of some of Elektra's backstory, as Elektra said she has a. I don't know if Elektra explicitly said family member name, or if it was just like, I know a guy kind of verbiage of like, I know someone who could probably help with this. I can't remember the exact verbiage, but very clearly Elektra knows someone who knows potentially some weird kind of esoteric, magical, potentially legend information. And
Can't hear you, Piper.
oh,
I hear her talking in the other room.
Hello?
oh,
There
there
we
you go.
Hello.
She very cheekily said, I know a lady.
Yeah, there it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a guy.
Yes, you know a lady who could potentially help with some magical secret information of some kind. What's a good symbol for the party? I'm going to make a little token for you guys so that you know which cell you're in.
Party hat. Party hat.
I don't have a party hat, but I do have a party cat.
Okay.
Uh,
This is
I've got,
acceptable.
I've got, hold on, let me shrink this. Cat,
My foot's here. I'll be right back.
Bird.
bird. I've got cool wolf head.
Katie.
I've got cool, like, dagger. Got double sword.
See, the double sword just like reminds me of all the old school RPGs where like you're traveling from place to place and all of a sudden you get that random encounter. It's always fucking double swords then melt
Mhm.
into encounter.
What else do I have?
The dagger makes me think of like in a montage when someone's traveling, you see the dagger like stab into the map.
Mhm. Got fist. Do
I need to turn on hardware acceleration.
Oh yeah, you do.
Boob.
I will go with, for now, dagger, just like simple dagger. Needs to be smaller. Unless anyone has a strong preference for anything else, because I didn't hear anybody while I was moving them say any like we should do that one.
Kitty.
Cat, Burb,
I
cat,
am partial
Burb
to cat.
has 2 votes. Cat, party cat.
And
Paige,
Amy is AFK because food has arrived.
Bird.
Bird, 2 votes.
I was
Cat, 2
running
votes.
to my
Bird.
computer so I can get a vote in.
Thus we go dagger. Because neither one won.
I could. Do you have a cat with wings?
No.
So difficult, Joe.
So we have cat, bird. Who flip a coin?
Sure.
One bird, 2 cat. Cat time.
See, we can just change it every other session or like every other arc. That way it's fair.
God. So you guys are on your way back to Termarkt. You're right there. And you know what goes great with walking close to the woods is random encounters of the third kind.
Oh boy.
Who
We should have
wants
done
to
the
be
cross swords.
who wants to be the random encounter guinea pig?
What you want to roll, Joe?
Let me get my table out. Let's do 1d50. $44. You know, this is an interesting one, considering last time what you guys got, which was the totem, the living totem thing. Let me see. So
I'm gonna be quiet for a bit because I'm eating, but I'm listening.
that's unfortunate. I need you to tell me your entire backstory.
No.
No, I'm kidding. So you guys are walking back through the woodland area, taking a similar path, but it's kind of difficult to get the exact same pathway because there's not a well-trodden area to walk through. As this is kind of like a more remote location. But as you are walking back through this area, you're probably a couple, maybe like 2 hours of hiking away at this point from the cemetery, and you have found, as you are walking, it's like got this eerie sense of calmness to it. The sun isn't setting yet. You'll get back to town basically right at sunset. So the sun is kind of craning through the sky at this point and has passed its apex and is starting to wane into the evening, or approaching the evening. And the woodland in this area is lighter, so there's not a lot of shadows, but as you're walking through the underbrush, I don't necessarily need a marching order, but who would be leading the hike if not Hawk? I will accept if you guys nominate Hawk to lead the hike.
I'm fine to talk.
Hawk leading?
Yeah.
Sure.
I imagine somehow that the hunters end up being front and back,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
and then
Squishy's in the middle.
as much as possible, because Willow does get easily distracted and wander off to go look at something for a few minutes before catching up.
Willow, if you're wandering off to go look at stuff, and you have a specific idea of what you want to look at, I got more tables to roll on. Don't be
It's
shy.
just anything that seemed like she's not wandering away from the path. She stays close enough to where she can clearly see the path, and they can clearly see her. She's not that dumb. But it's like, interesting tree, interesting bush, interesting rock. Let me go look, like, poke at it and, like, draw.
Okay. As you are walking, though, you hear this very clearly. The hunters who are walking towards the front of the pack, and also just if, even if Maddie is not walking towards the front, you have pretty acute hearing. You hear as Hawk is kind of leading the group. There's the sound of like a metal clang, like someone kicked something that was like a blade or something, like a boot on blade. And Hawk stops, and you hear the shuffled noise of hiking kind of come to a rustling stop. And Hawk just, you see the back of her head tilt to the side as she looks down on the ground and reaches down, and she picks up what looks to be like an old scimitar. Which, scimitars, as for most hunters in Termarkt, kind of an unusual weapon. There's no real hunters who use scimitars. Most hunter swords are usually stabbing weapons. And scimitars are, like, obviously not in the same sort of make and design. And they are notably shorter than most of the swords, this one in particular, than most of what you would expect a hunter to use from Termarkt. And she looks at it and kind of turns it over in her hand, and it's old, it's rusted, it's got a very like clear patina to the handle, where the handle was once this like brassy bronze looking tint. Now it has this old kind of greenish moldy looking nature to it. And she just turns it over, and then she starts to like look back on the ground and turn around where she's standing, and you see her do like a full 360, and she's like looking and then turns and then looks a little bit more. And anyone else who's kind of following her gaze or taking her cue and looking, you can all roll me a perception check at 1 purple if you like.
God damn it.
Willow, you are looking at something else, and we'll get to what you are looking at instead, because you have given me that as ammunition, so this is your own doing. Let me roll for Pierre. Where is... There we go. Yeah. So, as you are all spinning around, Willow is distracted by a local piece of fauna, or not fauna, flora, excuse me. A local bit of flora that has caught her attention. You all who are spinning around and kind of looking in the area around, you start to see another sword, like a slightly different one, and it's broken at the tip. It's another scimitar-like weapon, maybe like a cavalry saber-looking sort of thing, which looks a lot more like what you would expect from Termarkt. And then you turn around a little bit more and you see like a dagger of a completely unknown origin. It doesn't have a guard on it. It's like almost like a shiv in the way that it's sharp, and the point and the handle to the tip, there's no anything to prevent your hand from sliding up it. It's almost kind of ramshackle. And you turn around more and more, and you start to see more weapons until you realize that, like, almost, like, probably 100 feet out from just the relative area from where you all are kind of hiking, 100 feet in every direction, there's weapons everywhere. They're scattered all over the ground, just discarded. And then amongst them, there are also arrows and other types of, like, not just swords, there are ranged weapons too. There are bits and pieces of leather, some things that look like they could be used to make like a sling or a slingshot. And it's just surrounding you. And Hawk just sees that and just slowly sets the sword back down. Huh. Weapon graveyard. Interesting. She'll take the sword and just turn it point down and stick it into the earth.
Is this normal?
Usually occurs during a great battle or something. People take the weapons and stick them in the ground.
Nod.
Why would there be a battle here?
I don't know.
Hawk just shakes her head and shrugs. Can't say. Well, maybe it happened a long time ago, before the city was here, and this just hasn't been found.
Well, it certainly looks old enough.
Now feel free to take a souvenir, I guess. She clears her throat. But she shrugs, kind of hefting her sword over her shoulder again, and doesn't seem too concerned about it. It is just it seems to be mostly an ominous kind of portent, more than anything else.
Sounds like a good way to get cursed.
Okay. Willow, roll me a d4.
Oh, wait.
Dos. Okay. So you have spotted as, like, you see the weapons, but you're not really paying much attention to them. Like, after everyone has kind of commented on it, you're just like, huh? Oh. And you turn back to this thing that has caught your attention. There is a plant that how familiar do you think she would be with? Well, is she like a more of a botany type person? Would she know anything about botany, or is she like learning about it now because she is intrigued?
I imagine she has read a little bit about it. Would not consider herself an expert in it by any means, but she has like some basics of it so that she can work with, like, again, chemistry of shit and like trying to reduce properties of various plants and things in her work and talk to her sister about things.
Okay. So you can roll me either an alchemy check or a geography check at 2 purple, because there is a plant that you believe you understand what this is, but you've never actually seen it in person.
At 2 purple. Okay, go alchemy here. Okay, fuck Foundry.
So, yeah, I feel bad,
I
but with
don't
5
I
advantage.
don't ever fucking like succeed in Foundry.
I will say that you are smart enough to know, and you are like an alchemical, not a savant, but you are practiced. So you see this plant, and like you recognize it not by the sight, but by a distinct smell. Like as you were walking through the woods, you had this like very tiny little tinge, like a very sour, like spoiled egg smell, just underneath all of the pine and the woodland and the kind of mountainy air. There was a very distinct, like rotten egg tinge, and you're just like, that stinks. That stinks. What is that? And you looked down and you see this. It looks kind of like, it's a little shrub. It is probably about 6 to 8 inches high, and it looks kind of like pine, like imagine a pine tree branch, but instead of just a single branch, it is like a little bulb, like a shrub of what is little tiny shrub branches that have pine needles on the end of them. But they're a little bit thicker. They're a little bit thicker needles. And as you bend down and look at it, that sulfury stink becomes way more potent. And when you take a very careful, I imagine you probably have like a pen or a very careful like prodding tool, not to touch it with your hands so that you can examine it, right?
Yep.
And you're kind of poking at it and prodding at it, and you turn it over, and the name is escaping you. You know what this is. You just can't remember what the name of it is, and you're just like racking your brain to try and remember the name of it. But this is a plant that is used alchemically. This can be ground into a powder. It's extremely volatile when ground up. It is a dry plant, and it can be used to make, like, when ground into a fine powder, it burns very, very well, and it makes a lot of smoke. It can be compacted into a smaller frame. Like if you grind it into powder and then compress it into a small, like basically like an ampule or a pill form almost, it becomes almost like an explosive.
You've given me nature's gunpowder.
Yes, exactly. This is a type of plant that, like, the nature of it mimics gunpowder.
And it comes from the bulb itself or
the leaves.
the leaves?
Mm-hmm. You know that the plant itself is incredibly dry and burns very, very easily and very, very quickly. It's not like dangerous to have on you, like if you were to pick it and preen it. It's just you'd get the like a thin powdery substance from the leaves all over your hands, and it would stink, but it's not going to be like getting thermite on your fingers and hands. But you find a little bulb of it. I will tell you, Amy, just so you have it, because I assume you're taking notes.
Yes.
The plant is called coal nettle.
COAL space NETTEL? LE? What is it?
LE, yeah.
LE.
Coal
okay.
nettle. And it can be used to make coal nettle powder, which is basically like a slightly more volatile form of black powder.
not too far outside the city, right?
No, you can see the city.
Do I have anything? What's included in this shit?
If you want to harvest it, you absolutely can.
See, I don't want to just harvest it. I want to uproot it and carry it with me.
Oh, you want to transplant it.
Yes.
Okay, I should have guessed.
Trying to see. I have a mess kit. I got like a pot or a cup or something.
Dumps out her
Yep.
water supply.
I will say, with a mess kit, you'll have a bowl and a mug that if you want to try and like take the knife of the mess kit and carve around the base of the plant to scoop it into a bowl so that you can take it home.
Yes.
You are free to do that. I won't even make you roll for it because it's like conveniently easy to do.
Just takes Joe's like, yeah, she can just harvest from it really easily. You want the whole plant?
Y'all are having this conversation about fucking weapons graveyard. You start to hear the sounds of gardening.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
Joe's so interested in this.
Willow wanders back with just a fucking bowl with a plant inside it.
you guys finish up looking at all of these weapons, and you guys are more than welcome to look around. Nobody did. I was just very curious if anyone wanted to go and investigate or look around through the menagerie of different old-looking weapons at your disposal.
I mean,
Yeah, I'll look around. Why not?
Any other character of mine? Any other character?
So if you're going to look around in the weapons, go ahead and make me. Let me see. I don't think this would actually be like an actual skill check. This would be probably a random table thing. Let me see here. Because I will say that are you looking for any type of weapon in particular, or are you just going to look for something that sticks out and is not
Sticks
like.
out.
Okay, cool. Then we're going to go with. I want.
Fuck it, if we're making a stop, I'll look around. Why not?
Hell yeah.
so on one hand, I want to do the fun roll stuff, but like Paige isn't really interested in weapons.
Yes, and it's very important to know, like, there's no shields or armor or bags. It's weaponry. Very, very obviously weaponry.
You know what? She's just gonna hop over to Willow and assist with the plan to transfer.
You just get this like rambling of like, I'm pretty sure this is a I don't know what the name of it is, but it does these things.
Just nod. To helping with the thing.
Ooh.
Because
Okay.
Paige likes plants.
1, 2.
They good.
Both hunters, roll me 1d4.
Four.
1 and 4.
My instinct tells me not to look and that we're just gonna get cursed. But Maddie is impulsive enough.
Hattie with a 4. So, Maddie, roll me 1d2.
At least at one point, as you guys are shuffling through the different like weapons and looking at them, just get this like random loud ass like boom from Willow.
Why are you throwing explosives at a plant?
Not throwing explosives. I am describing what it can do, though. Big boom.
So,
Big boom.
big bada boom. Maddie, as you are looking through the weapons and like just kind of perusing, you see a bunch of old, decrepit swords and maces and hammers, things that look completely racked by age to the point where they are probably not useful. But there is one thing you find that technically doesn't look like a weapon to you, and it's standing upright, propped against a tree nearby. You at first you don't really understand, like, huh, and you walk over and grab it. There is a triangular handle that leads down the haft and to a spade head, and you find what looks to be just like a strange shovel. It's very rigidly straight. It doesn't have the normal shovel curve at the end where it seems like it would be easier to scoop dirt. This is just a flat, straight shovel, almost like the head of it, the head of the spade is like almost like an axe. And as you grab it and kind of lift it up, the spade head, you can very clearly tell that part of the spade head is sharpened. This is a very weird, technically a weapon kind of weapon,
It's
and
like,
it's in pretty good condition.
it's like the little compactable shovel that army guys get.
Kind of, yeah. It has
It's
it's
big.
very except it's a lot longer. Like it's a full size shovel,
Mm-hmm.
but you find it and it's dead ass like a full spade. And if you're just looking closely at it, you're not able to really discern any meaning from it, but you can see that there's markings engraved in the wooden haft of the shovel.
Ooh.
And Electra, as you are meandering through the weapons, there's many of these that you've seen all of these in some form or another, either from a book or from just training with them. You would like there's your family members have trained with very different types of weaponry just for the sake of like understanding the nuances of different types of combat that come with each one. And as you're just plodding along, just looking around, you see something that, again, is also technically like a weapon, but it's intriguing to you because it is also in an unusually like pristine condition almost. There is what looks to be a wooden handle that has a metal protrusion from it that goes up into a blade, but it's kind of like a sickle, except if you took the curvature of the sickle and straightened it out so that it was kind of like a bayonet. And just looking at it, you like grab it and hold it up. Wait, shit, Piper, have you
Khopesh,
seen Helsing?
basically. Bits and pieces of it.
You know the weapons that Father Anderson uses? It's like exactly one of those.
It's like a Khopesh, right?
I think I don't actually know what a Khopesh is. It's kind of like a Khopesh if the back half of the curved part was like straight, and the front, like the little bit of the front end of it, is a lot more short. It's it's kind of the length of like a long dagger. It's shorter than a short sword, but longer than a dagger. And just looking at it, it takes you a minute, and you can kind of see that there was maybe like a weird
Oh, yeah.
lever axis type thing, almost like it was like a part of a scissor, and there was only one blade of it. But as you're kind of turning it over in your hand, you can see that the blade is pristine. It is sharp. The handle is aged and shows like obvious use, but the blade is like you just holding it, you can hear this thing sing.
Now this is a unique weapon. I don't suppose you mind if I take this, Mr. Graveyard?
Okay, Iris, there is some sort of droning sound in the back of your mic. I don't know if it's a machine or what.
Did it fix itself?
Yes.
I don't hear it anymore.
Okay, sorry about that.
You're good.
Can anyone read this?
Read what?
Sorry, that was in character.
Oh.
You're talking about reading the oh my
Yeah,
god, the shovel, the
the
symbols on the
sigils
shovel.
are yeah.
Willow be done with her transplanting into her soup bowl.
Yes.
Wander over.
You are now carrying a little plant bowl. It smells terrible.
She.
What is that?
Let's just say that if in the right hands I can make this go. Well, imagine the biggest explosive you've ever seen, and then double it.
I can't stand that smell.
Yes, but big boom. Let me see. Just like, nods towards the spade.
You walk by Pierre, and that plant like wafts to his nose, and he just goes, "Oh, that is a foul stench. What? Oh, is that the what is it? Coal weed or something?"
Snaps her fingers and points. That's it. Cold
Yes,
nettle.
with him mentioning, yeah, you immediately are like coal nettle.
It's very not good smelling.
Oh, that is it. It smells like death. I remember thinking, I think Father mentioned something like this. In one of his stories, he says something about like a creature that eats it and it lets it breathe fire or something. Do you remember this story?
Oh, I think I do. The
Like a
creature,
forest dragon.
it drank water and this belly it go away. Yeah.
I don't know. I would never want to eat or drink anything that had that even near it.
No, see, now you can't complain when I bring new flowers. Because the flowers smell good.
And looking at the shovel, Willow, roll me a weird check.
Oh boy. With what?
2 purple. So
Just
many advantages.
Stop asking me to roll shit because I'm never going to succeed.
So, looking at it,
I don't get successes.
you'll get successes eventually. We'll get there. You just got to get all the bad rolls out. You're backed up with bad rolls.
I have been doing bad rolls for how many sessions has this game been going on? I have succeeded, I think, once. And that was the very first time I used the flame sprayer, and that's it.
So, looking at it, Willow, the text on it, this is you're not a linguist, but looking at it, it's definitely not any language you've seen about, any human language. And there's a little like soft tingle in the back of your head, and you hear over your shoulder from like a summary voice of just like, I think I've seen this before, but I can't remember where. Can't remember what it said. Oh well. And then a shrug.
Just gets a snort. She like tilts her head listening and then a snort. I don't think that's any human language at the very least. Might be better off trying to find some friendlier thing outside. Seeing if they know.
Maddie was kind of more focused on trying to cover her nose, but just kind of nods like, okay, thanks. Like, takes 10 steps away.
Yeah, Maddie, that plant to you, that is ripe. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
She does not like strong scented things at all.
Oh no.
It's like Willow like looking around at all these like really strong reactions to it, and you just get this like little twist of the mouth of like you can't tell if it's amusement or annoyance, somewhere in between. And she's shaking her head. None of you would ever survive in the lab.
With the amount of black powder stuff that you've experimented with, this sort of smell, this is just emotionally dead to you. This is just yeah, it stinks, whatever. Moving
Nose
on.
hairs are gone.
It's like, wait, does that mean we can seize it up?
Yeah, well, I
So
mean,
what?
I don't see why not. Anybody that comes in for an order sees the lab.
But could we just go in to just, see it and stop by, say hi, Willow, and then, see the stuffs?
Well, it just seems there's a little bit of a shrug of like, again, I don't see why not.
Okay. No to-do list.
As you are having this conversation, Hawk is examining like what she had found as an old longsword. Just kind of looking at it, kind of fondly, lost in a memory somewhere. And she looks back and just goes, "Oh, if you kids are done playing with your stinkweed, I'd like to move on, if that's okay with you."
I will take that knife that was given to me by
Mhm.
Mother Nature.
I
Roll
will
me
keep my
just
shovel.
for shits and giggles, Piper. Roll me 1d20.
Stinkweed. Really?
So you have leather straps and hooks that you can put other weapons onto, and as you spin this thing around and slide it into a leather hook, you're not careless as you do it because it's just kind of a practiced gesture. But because it is a practiced gesture, there is a your kind of motion is programmed into your head as a sword that is just a straight line. And this thing has a hinge like in the basically end of it. So it's not a perfectly straight line. And as you go and hitch it into a leather loop, it like you hear it and feel it cinch and then just fall to the ground, and it has completely clean sheared through a hard leather loop.
What?
And you, like, with seemingly no resistance.
That's one incredibly sharp knife.
And you could very easily like pick it up and then just re-cinch it to a different part of your belt very carefully, not to touch the blade, but that gives you an idea of something about the nature of this knife is its unparalleled sharpness. And Maddie, you having that shovel, Hawk looks at you and just goes, "What's with this? What's with the shovel?"
Seemed pretty cool to me. Look, it has runes on it. Or some kind of writing.
Hawk walks over, and you guys are like starting to walk and talk at this point. Hawk is examining the shovel, and she kind of tilts her head to one side, and will say like, "Huh, you know, that kind of looks familiar." And she'll reach over her shoulder and grab the hilt, the longer hilt of the Red King, and heft it, like just bodily swing it up and over, and then spin it around. And she is holding it kind of at a weird angle, but she's tilting the hilt towards you, and you can see that the spade, it has not the same markings, but similar shaped markings.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it's supposed to be like a weird kind of shovel sword. I don't know. I don't know what these markings mean, but hey, maybe it's built to kill. You can use it to hunt. I
Oh,
guess
we'll
that
find
explains
out.
why it's on all these weapons.
Well, I'm definitely gonna test it out.
Let me know how it goes. I'm very curious to see how this shovel fares in battle. And she just like casually waves a hand towards it, partly doubting the usefulness of a combat shovel, but also intrigued because it is clearly some kind of non-human shovel.
And like Maddie has the strength to back it up, as long as it doesn't break.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of does some, like as they're walking, like some swings forward, try and get the hang of it.
Yeah. So swinging the shovel around, it. So you can add this to your sheet as it has the stats of a great axe. But there are additional properties that you are not able to ascertain yet. And let me make sure here. The knife that you got, Piper, it has the base stats of a machete, but also has properties that you are not able to ascertain yet.
Okay. I'll go get that looked at and down.
Yeah, additional properties, I should say. It has the base. It is base that weapon plus some.
Oh, what's it based on?
The
Machete.
a machete,
The
yes,
machete.
And mine was based off a great axe, you said?
correct.
I'm just going to add a great axe to my inventory then.
Yeah, precisely.
Gonna have that equipped for the time being.
Mm-hmm. Okay, then there's more and more walking of just enjoying the scenery, and it's the group kind of meanders in a way that kind of stretches the group. So you're not walking in like a wad of people in like a big bundle. You're kind of walking in a striated line. Willow tends to fall towards the back part of the line because she continues to like investigate local bits of flora that she finds interesting, and also everyone kind of continues to walk once she gets kind of in the back because the plant's stinky. But you guys walk for another good few hours. And after another probably 2 hours of walking through the kind of canopied woodland with the sun getting lower and lower in the sky, you hit the point where the woods kind of breaks and the break in the tree line opens up to this downsloping wood or this downsloping grassy field. And it's once again just it is very beautiful. It has a natural beauty to it that when you see the mountain stream like flowing down and sort of expanding outwards so that it crosses through Termarked and recedes back into the woodland, it just seems like a picturesque painting almost of this city that from this angle seems a lot smaller and more quaint than when you're inside the city and it starts to return to the hustle and bustle of what you're used to. But it is now 6 in the evening. Do dusk. There you go. And you guys have successfully made it back to the city. I want to go this one. And as you guys are walking in, you are approaching from one of the northern gates, but it's not any like there's no difference in procedure. It's just a matter of as you are approaching, you're coming down from the north. And guards can see that's like, oh, okay, there's hunters, there's some other people, probably explorers, guild people. They don't really question it. They just do their own thing. And as you approach the city gate, they open the smaller portion of the gate since you are not bringing in like a horse and carriage of any kind. And you walk back in and you have returned to the city. And let me get some city vibes.
Were we trying to stop by Valentine? Is that the name?
That's the last name. There was no overt name given from Electra. Electra just said she knew a lady.
Well, she said Miss Valentine.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I did say Valentine. Yeah.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Trust me,
think-
that name was given because otherwise I would not know the name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it says,
Okay.
looks like I wrote down Lady Valentine. That's all we got.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Lady Valentine, Electra, you know, she lives in the number like over near the 6 in this western side of the town. This area is like less overtly patrolled by the church, and home to a lot more eclectic, like traveling places or traveling people.
Yeah. I will lead everybody to where I believe she is.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And
So
are
you
we
guys
doing
are
this immediately upon getting back?
unless anyone else has other things they want to do. Hawk is actually very interested and intrigued about what this person supposedly knows about Pandora's box.
And
Mm-hmm.
Willow will. I'm assuming there are like messengers and runners and shit in this town.
Yeah.
She's gonna hire one to take the plant to the lab. She'll really quick write a note for Eustace.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you can like hail like a guard member who will hail someone else, and there's easily like several Explorers Guild members who work as intercity post workers. So you can flag one down, he'll run it to the lab. No issue. So you no longer have to carry the plant with you.
Plant. Stinky plant.
Big boom.
Cool. Then if you guys are all good with it, you walk down through the city and start to make your way westward towards the I can't remember what the name I used for it was, but
West
like
side.
the west side, yeah. The West End
West End.
West End.
district here.
Yeah, it was West End. I knew it was something basic.
I had to look back in my little notes.
Okay. Getting to the West End, this gate that leads outward here is generally always open, except when it is dark, like dark. Because travelers will either come in through the gate towards like well into the dusk, sunsetting hours, and people who live in West End will come in and traverse and go around to the market areas where they either work or shop. In the West End, there are eclectic like stalls and other shops there, but not for every specific good. And you know, Electra, this person actually runs this like, I don't want to use the word occult. We'll call it specialty interest bookshop and goods, eclectic goods and books. But as you get through the West End, you can see where very clearly the influence of the church is less overtly felt. There are a lot of weirdlings who hang around in this area. You, in particular, Maddie, would know that this is where, oh man, Lisa Silvers, that's her name. This is where Lisa Silvers lives in the time where she is not on or in the actual hunter's camp or out on a hunt. So just walking through the West End, there's a couple of like less reputable looking figures, people who are wearing a lot more kind of rough looking clothing, things where people like the general aesthetic of this area is more destitute in vibe. But after probably a good couple minutes of wandering through the like weaving very, very closely packed in types of huts and shacks and buildings, you walk through a little corner to an alley that, and lots of stores end up in alleyways like this. In this alley, there's no name for this shop, but there is like a wooden hanging sign that is a bit unusual looking. It looks to be like an eye, kind of the type of eye symbolism you see around like psychics and tarot card readers and whatever. But the eye has like a star in the middle of it, like a pentacle. And that is the specialty goods shop that you are looking for, Electra.
Well, this is the place.
You point it out, and Hawk is just eyebrows go up and is like, "Oh, I can see why the church wouldn't want someone like this. I can see why this person lives out here. Church probably wouldn't like someone like this living inside the walls."
Uh, it was self-exile. She chose to come here. She'll open up the door. Lady, are you in?
So you open the door, and inside you see that there are tall bookshelves, like bookshelves that go from floor to ceiling. The ceilings aren't very high, but they are stacked like with old books, and some of them look like the pages are bound with just ancient pieces of material. There are little baubles and trinkets and interesting doodads littered throughout parts of the shelves where there aren't books. There's a very, very small, like just about 2.5 foot wide desk at the front, and a door in the back where when you open the door, there's no one visible, but as you crack it and call out to her, you hear like the shuffling of someone in the back, and she goes, "Give me a minute. I'm coming." And you can smell like it has a distinct scent of old kind of moldy book smell, mixed with like an esoteric candly, like freshly put out candle smoke scent. Bleh, bleh. And you all see as in walks a woman who is comparable to Electra in height. She has very silvery gray hair, though it is not silvery gray with age. It has the kind of sheen to it of youth. She has gray eyes and dresses mostly in dark chromatic or monochromatic colors like grays and blacks, though she does have like a slightly bluish navy like tint to a coat that kind of hangs off of her shoulders. And she walks in. She is carrying a stack of books, 3 or 4 books high, and she looks like this. And she
Wow, that's a
walks in.
shadowy person.
Ladies at the bottom.
Yeah.
I don't
16.
see her. I see Tristan as the last one.
What?
Scroll down, because I see Tristan, Hawk, and Lady.
I do not see Lady. I see Tristan. I do not see Hawk or Lady.
Why? Interesting. Let me see. Maybe close it and reopen?
Okay.
Maybe refresh?
I will refresh.
But yes, at the bottom you should see a woman who has a kind of ghostly appearance to her, though she is very clearly living, and she has a kind of like effervescent quality to her voice. And she sees everyone walking in and is a bit taken aback by just how many people there are, and just blinks and says, "Oh, hello. How can I help you?"
Do you need some help with those books, Lady?
She is like awkwardly standing around and just kind of looks at the shelf nearby, there's no room, looks to a different shelf, still no room, and then looks around and then just goes, maybe if you could help me find a place to put them. And she just sets them on the countertop and, like, is kind of at a loss of where to shove these.
Willow, immediately upon entering, would have turned and started perusing the shelves. The interest in person gone. Interest in book increase.
Wouldn't you know? Paige is the exact opposite. She's like, cool, books. Who's this person?
She stands with her hands kind of gently clasped in front of her. She has a very prim and proper air about her, though she is a little, very visibly, like, not a people person with the way she's kind of standing and how she moves. But she, like, just looks at all of you and kind of anxiously waiting. And she'll walk over to Electra and will, like, after she sets the books down, and she'll, like, it's, good to see you. I didn't expect you to visit today. Especially so late.
Well, sorry. We were on our way back from a hunt, and we had some questions about a certain... She looks around. A certain relic of sorts that we were hunting down, and you are the lady to ask for.
She rubs her arm a little bit in a kind of nervous gesture and just goes, oh, I hope I can be of some help. And she, like, looks just at everyone, kind of curious about what this relic could be. Willow, as you're looking on the bookshelves, Pierre has also kind of started looking, not with you, but nearby you, doing his own examination of what, like, plethora of books there are. And it's very plain to see that there are books upon books about just every possible weird subject. There's tomes that many of which you have seen or couldn't necessarily garner a lot of use from. Pierre is fortunate enough to stumble upon a section about cooking, and he gets lost in, like, flipping through a book, looking at different recipes. So what can I do to help you exactly about this relic?
Pandora's box.
Oh, shouldn't we introduce ourselves first?
Oh, sorry, you're right. I don't mean to be rude. My name is Lady. She does, like, a little curtsy.
Very, very energetic wave from Paige. And she's like, hello, my name is Paige. It's told me one of his eyes, Pierre.
There's a slap of, like, a book being closed in surprise, and he just goes, what? Oh, yes, I am Pierre. It's a pleasure to meet you. Pardon me, I got distracted by, one of your books. No, it's okay. You are welcome to look. It is also a pleasure to meet you.
Willow just kind of, like, pauses, listens, just rolls her eyes, still book in one hand, still open, and does the little, like, half bow thing. Willow Delaunay, Tamok Delaunay's, and about Pandora's box.
Oh, yes. What would you like to know about it? I can tell you what I know off the top of my head.
Let's
We
start
believe
there.
we believe it's gotten out, so any information about it would be quite helpful.
Gotten out? And from behind, you hear Hawk, like, Hawk's boots, they don't make much noise against like earth as she moves, but against like a wooden floor, her footsteps sound like the shuffle of heavy footfalls, like someone is dropping a box every time she moves, and she just like tromps up and says, "Yeah, we're looking for anything that you could tell us about any sort of information leading to or about what to expect with this thing. Is it gonna blow up in my hands if I hold it?" She just blinks and says, no, it won't blow up in your hands. Let me see. Hold, please. And she holds up a finger and will, like, carefully shuffle to one side of the room and reach past, like, or reach up to a particular tome and just pluck it off of the shelf, one of the many shelves. And she flips through to a couple pages and just goes, an ancient Grecian artifact from, well, before all of this. It's very old and very powerful. I suppose it contains all of the evils in the world and was opened once before to explain that the existence of evil in general, which is a cute story, but obviously can't be completely true. What do you think this is really out there?
That seems to be the case.
And we're going to find out either way.
She blinks and like looks at Willow and looks over to Maddie and Hawk, just tilts her head. What would you want with it?
We don't want anything with it other than to make sure it's secure. It's those out there that's potentially misusing it.
She kind of nods her head, understanding now, and just goes, "Oh, I see. It's to prevent it from becoming more of a problem."
That's right.
That's precisely the reason why. And, if you could help us figure out a way to contain it, maybe? If there's any sort of process to it.
Or any way of possibly tracking it.
Oh, tracking it? And she takes two fingers and puts them on the side of her temples and just kind of like rubs for a second. They're Willow and Paige. As she does this, you hear like there's a distinct like familiar feeling, like an itch in the back of your mind that she's doing something. And to anyone else, it just looks like kind of a somewhere between like a nervous tick and a thoughtful gesture, where she is just kind of rubbing the side of her head, trying to remember something. And after a pause, she says, well, tracking it, I don't think is," and she looks to Electra and says, "I don't think is something that can reasonably be done." And kind of rubs her hands together in this sort of like awkward, not necessarily saying everything kind of way. But I can tell you things like maybe what it's capable of. maybe what it looks like? And she goes to a different section of her little bookshop and shovels a couple different little trinkets out of the way and starts plucking a couple books off of the shelf.
Yeah, whatever you can give us.
The most I can figure, there's a couple of old tomes here that describe different magical artifacts like that. She opens a book and it's heavy laden with dust. It is a old book. Like pages could crumble if turned a bit too aggressively old. And she just carefully turns a few and says, I see from here, the translation is a bit rough, it's not perfect, but the book is described as being, or the box is described as being frail. Maybe it's made of glass or ceramic.
Well, that's something I wasn't expecting. I would have thought the box containing all the world evils to be a bit more secure.
It describes the box as being relatively. It uses a word here that translates poorly. Something like simple or mundane, but the word also translates to human, but not human in like, well, maybe not human in the person way, but human as in mortal. It's a little strange. For some of these artifacts, a lot of this is just interpreting language.
Willow kind of
no.
narrows her eyes and tilts her head. She will come up behind Lady and lean over her to like read whatever she is reading.
Paige, what were you doing?
Just, oh no. Paige is thinking about that little girl.
Oh. Okay. Willow, you are looking over Lady's shoulder. She doesn't notice you as you approach. Go ahead and roll me a lore check
Lore
at...
check?
Yes.
Lore.
And this would be at 2 purple.
I'll see the next fail.
Oh, shit! Triumph, let's go. Okay, so with a lore check and a triumph, you can see as you're looking over her shoulder, she's looking at like some ancient text that is it's actually got multiple languages in it. You can see that there's obviously Latin on the page. There's obviously ancient Grecian on the page. There's also some symbols that you don't readily recognize. Symbols that might not be in a particular language. They might be representations of ideas rather than like letters to a word. But as you're looking over it, there's just the sheer amount of stuff she is able to glean from it is kind of astonishing. You are able to really understand that there's with an old artifact like this, it's not going to be as cut and dry as like, oh yeah, the box looks like this and it's about this wide and this tall. There's going to be a lot of hand waviness to it. specifically around facets of the box or things about the box's nature.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, you can see that she's saying things like, yeah, there's a particular passage here that describes the box as being human or mortal or mundane. And then there's another passage that describes it as being frail or like easily damaged. There's one other thing that you note. You see that there is a passage that names the box. Like, and it's very hard to convey in like the actual English language what is happening, because the nature of the language, the nature of like the mixing of these ancient languages and what it's talking about, it's saying like it refers to Pandora's box in the same way that you would use like a gender neutral pronoun to denote like a person. Like it says they, for example.
Mm-hmm. Willow's just like reading over the shoulder for a second, and will reach around and point at that, and like turn to everybody else.
You reach around and point to it, and she just, there is a slight shoulder jump as she's like,
It is. Hold on. Voice.
oh, I know.
Trust me, I also know.
I think it's a
This-
mood.
His book is personifying this box.
You don't think that the box is, you know?
Hawk, like, listening to this, just raises an eyebrow and just goes, I don't know what that means.
Giving it
That-
human characteristics, whether that be actual human or something with some sentience of its own.
As in, like, the box is alive?
Possibly.
Or like a doll or a puppet, perhaps.
See, I'm more worried. What if the little girl is the box?
That is also a fair possibility from this rather jumbled amount of information. Impressive you did find this much, though.
There's, like, an awkward hand ringing, and she just goes, oh, sorry, I mean, thank you, I think. So, you're trying to say that Box could be alive?
Somehow, yes.
Oh boy, okay, so if the box is alive, then that means it might be able to move? Right? Like
Well,
it
I mean,
has
it's
legs?
moving already if it's being held by the girl, or it is the girl, so not much has changed.
Mm-hmm. Because anyone could pick up the box and, you know, move it.
Well, yeah, but now I'm thinking, if the girl lets go of the box might run away. Right? That's a thing to worry about now.
Well, if it's as frail and questionable as this makes it out to seem, I doubt it's going to be wandering off on its own very much.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's one other thing. And Lady, like, hands the book to Willow. Like, she like turns around and very gently places it in your hands, and will like very awkwardly like shuffle over to the wall near Maddie and reach over and grab a book off of the shelf. It is unclear to most of you how this organization is laid out, it just seems like absolutely fucking scattered. But she runs over to the shelf and grabs another random book off the wall, and she like flips it open to a page near like the back portion of it, almost where you would expect the index to be. And she's shuffling around through a couple pages, flipping back and forth, and she goes, "Oh, this passage," and she awkwardly walks over back to Willow and shows it to you. It describes the box as being, well, eternal, sort of. And Willow, you're looking at it with that triumph. You also will get that this passage is saying the box is eternal / undying / resurrecting / has always existed.
Willow just see her like adjust her glasses a little bit and squint at the passage, not taking the book from the second book from Lady, just reading over her shoulder again. Eternal, yes, but perhaps immortal, or even more interestingly, there's some connotation of resurrection. I don't think the box can be destroyed.
Well, makes sense. You can't really destroy evil.
Hawk scratches her head. Hawk looks like she is very barely keeping up with the conversation, and she just goes, "I thought the box was fragile, or something."
Well, if you take the connotation of resurrection, you can just possibly destroy it, let everything out, and it'll just reform again. Perhaps that's what happened when all of this happened. She's like gestures vaguely around herself.
Oh, that wouldn't be a bad theory. The weirding being a result of the box being opened? Or destroyed?
Well, if you consider the old Greek ways, the box just being opened just released evil into the world, but we survived how many centuries without this? So I would think something a little bit more extreme than just opening the box happened. Of course, that's if you attribute the weirding to actually the Pandora's box itself and not just believe it to be a myth and a story.
Hawk shakes her head and shrugs, and there's a kind of road weariness to her as she just says, "I gave up on believing that stories were fake a long time ago. I think every story is real now. It's just a matter of when it's real."
There's always a little bit of truth in a story, but I do think there's a... how should I say it? More that there's just a kernel of truth in most stories.
Makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. So, I guess we're looking for a fragile box that comes back to life when you break it. And there's really nothing else to really glean from it? About the appearance at all?
Well, the box itself, I think, is a little bit of a... let's just put it in quotation marks right now. Take it loosely, not literally.
Hawk looks at Maddie, and how is Maddie grappling with this?
She's just kind of listening. It's like, okay, so it's not a thing, it's a person, but it's not a person?
Could be a
It's
person
kinda
or
like-
a thing.
It's kind of like running around circles in her head kind of thing, like, so what are we looking for exactly is kind of the... It seems like we haven't gotten much, I guess.
Maddie and Hawk have the same sort of like look. They were hoping that this would be like they go to a bookstore and this person goes, "Oh, the box looks like this and it's over here." And now they're like, "Well, this makes it way harder."
Not necessarily that it's over here, but like more defining features. Like, oh yeah, we're looking for something that's purple, or something that's small, or something that has this weird symbol on it. Like, not vagueness. It's like something to work with, kind of thing, you know?
There is, yeah. So there is a like a brief lull in the conversation, and Pierre just offers up like, maybe it is a food, like a pastry.
Somehow I doubt the incarnation of the world's evils is a pastry.
I think it would be a very, yucky one.
He nods and thinks very studiously, like, I think you're right. It would be a very revolting thing to eat, I think. Hawk looks at Electra and then kind of shrugs and nods and just goes, I agree with you. I don't think it's going to be the most evil pastry to ever exist.
No, I was thinking it's going to be a person.
I really hope it's not a person. That's going to complicate things a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, any way that we cut this, whether it be pastry, box, or a person, we just know that we have to find it. We don't know exactly what it is, we just know that if we smash it, either things are going to be very, very bad for a time and it will come back, or we found the wrong thing. So
I
no
know
smashing
I
it, Maddie.
mentioned...
What,
Hawk looks...
Why me?
Hawk looks at Maddie and just like points to Willow and just goes, she's got a point. She's got you there, kiddo.
But I never said I was going to smash it.
Gestures towards giant hammer.
I use it for defense, okay?
And also smashing. I did see you smash things.
Aren't you the one with the flamethrower?
Yes. I won't burn it either. But we're not going to smash it. Well, I won't burn it without a clear reason to try it. An experiment, at least.
I don't...
Wait, so you can burn it, but I can't smash it? Really?
How about we agree not to harm the item containing the root of all evil?
I agree
Just a
with that.
suggestion.
Let's not harm the box. I don't trust either of them to hold the box.
I wonder if it's a book. At the mention of burning it, maybe reading the book is like opening it, and destroying the book is what causes all of the words inside to become real? And she just shrugs.
Not the strangest thing I've heard.
Also a possibility. Someone should write all of this down so that we can place bets.
Somehow I feel like betting on the root of all evil, and what it is exactly, is somehow sacrilegious. It's coming from somebody who isn't even religious.
Didn't you mention you're willing to burn it? How is that worse?
We are not burning anything.
No, we're not, no. But how can, taking bets on what the form of it is how is that worse than, talking about burning it?
Pierre holds up a finger and just goes, I thought that destroying it was bad?
Yes,
think
it is.
That was the consensus I gathered.
Yeah, no, we're not going to destroy it. I just want to know, what is it? We could take bets. It's long. It's going to be a long trip,
There's another pause, and Lady looks down into the book and turns another page, and then shrugs and says, It seems like the only thing I can really get to describe the actual box. She says box and holds up 2 fingers to do the quotation marks gesture and says, small. Maybe. There's a word that's used here that the closest word I could think of would be maybe demure? Or if we're going by the other words we've learned, it's a small, fragile little
Container.
thing. Container. So, I guess you have to be able to carry it. And she just pantomimes she pantomimes something to the effect of like a shoebox size. Like an invisible shoebox is in her hands. Something like this?
Oh no, what if it's a bunny?
A bunny.
It's like pantomimes the shoebox size. You know, it's the same size. It's, you know, small. It's fragile. It's, you know, you can hold it very easily.
I am truly fascinated in how the two of your brains work. One thinks a pastry, the other thinks a bunny.
Pierre blinks and then opens up his mouth to say something and then closes his mouth slowly and just goes, it's probably not a pastry. And then just scratches the back of his head.
But it could be a bunny.
It could be anything.
Exactly. It's not, you know, impossible.
I guess if you're going to go look for it, you should bring a rabbit cage so it can't run
Don't
away.
worry about that. I have that covered.
Oh.
Willow very distinctly opens her mouth to argue, thinks better, closes it, and just hand over mouth to mute herself.
Hawk puts her hands on her hips and says, well, if we're all said and done here, I'd like to get a move on with our plan of action here. Thank you for your help, Miss... my name's Lady. Hawk, blinks for a second, processing that her name could be that. Thank you, Lady. But I think now we have to decide how we're going to go about this. We know that there's a little girl with the box. So we have to figure this out one way or the next. And we have to get it soon. If it's all the same to you, I'd like to leave ASAP. You don't have to leave right on my heels, but I get restless thinking about it. And Noose won't notice if I leave for a good bit of time, so I'll just tell her I'm gonna go do some work in, the Northwest.
Isn't Noose already gone?
I'll write a note.
So you can at least rest for the night?
Yeah, I'll rest for the night. I'll leave in the morning.
What about you guys? Turns to the rest of the group.
Well, I'll stay and chat with Lady for a little bit, and then probably go back to the manor.
Well, I mean, everyone kind of agreed to do this, right?
Willow nods. She has distracted herself with another book, half paying attention to the conversation. I need to get a few things set up at the shop, and then At least warn one of my siblings I'm going to be out of town. Everything else should be good.
Pierre looks over to Paige and has this kind of worried, anxious look on his face and says, I suppose we need to talk to Mom and Dad. But after that, I guess we would be able to leave the following day. So, what I'm gathering is it seems like you all need about a day to get your affairs in order, and then you'll be able to take a hike?
Thereabouts.
Nods. Good. Then maybe I could take some time to get my own affairs in order, and I'll delay another day. That'll get you off my back, and she elbows Maddie.
Sticks her tongue out. If you're staying longer, then we are getting a drink together. It's been a while.
And she holds up her hands and, like, kind of like the I surrender gesture, just goes, oh, well, if you're twisting my arm about it, I guess I got a drink. Well, if there's nothing else, I'm gonna head back to the camp. And we can have that drink. Either tonight or tomorrow. But I won't head out. I'll wait to confirm with you all.
And Maddie will look at the rest of the group like, do you guys need me here?
I'll join you for a drink in a bit.
There's a
Willow-
soft oh sorry, go ahead, Willow.
No, you go ahead.
Electra, there's a soft, like, murmur from Lady as she goes, oh, I got a letter today from brother, or, hold on, I need to look at your siblings' names.
Only one brother.
Oh, sorry, then I thought this was a different brother as well. Then, yes, she holds up a finger and just goes, I got a letter today from Sister Donna.
Oh, you got a letter from Donna. I haven't heard from her in a while. How's she doing?
She's doing well, I think. She's over in Murcott. I think she set up a practice there.
Well, she sounds a bit happier already.
She nods.
And how are you doing, lady? I haven't checked in on you in a little bit.
She rubs her hands a little bit and just goes, I'm okay. It's quiet here, and I like it here because it's quiet.
Okay, well, you know you can come back to the manor whenever you want. I'm not one to discriminate or judge based on what you do. You know that, right?
She nods, and there's a very, like, firm confidence in her nod. And she, like, very awkwardly just shrugs and just goes, I might try to come see you before you go on your expedition.
Yeah, I'd like that. You're the only sane one out of those siblings, besides me, of course.
There's a soft, like, not guilty smile, but like there's something behind her smile that's hard to read. But she smiles, and there's a another very, very faint and very, very short tingle in the back of Willow and Paige, in the back of your minds, as she just like shrugs for half a second, and then will close the book she has and start to go over to the pile she left on her, like the little checkout desk area, and starts to grab like one at a time and shuffle around looking for places to put all of these different books. And Willow, you were saying now.
Willow was getting distracted again and wandering around. In are the books marked like they're for sale at all?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So she's going to just find something of vague interest and will purchase it.
Mm-hmm. You could pick damn near any subject and she will have a book on it. It could be a cookbook, it could be a botany book, it could be like the Idiot's Guide to Monsters, like version 1. She also has like actual fiction novels as well.
That's less
Which-
interesting to Willow, unfortunately.
As one point of note, she is one of the few bookstores in Termarkt that has actual fiction novels.
I guess since they're going after Pandora's box, any books that are like in particular about Greek mythology, Roman mythology, but
Mhm.
like more concrete, not just a book of mythology. Like anything that may have
Yes.
been figured out since the Weirdening.
Mm-hmm. So she will. You could buy the books that she referenced in the actual conversation that was happening, so that you have all of that information like on hand.
Yeah, that'll work.
And there's maybe one that has been written post Weirdening that delves into like the book actually delves into legends and lore in a world where there is no more fiction.
Okay. Yeah, that'll work. That'll be what Willow purchases, I think.
She's very appreciative, and there's like just a hint of like pink on her cheeks as she feels a little like actually hold on, let me fucking Willow roll me specifically a weird check with no purple.
Weird check, no purple.
I swear to Christ, if you can't get a success. Damn. Another there's your triumphs. Okay. So with like just buying the books and doing that brief exchange, she very quickly like there's another brief flash where you get a very accurate reading of like her emotional state. And you can tell that Lady has she is interested in Willow in a way that like you see someone who you want to talk to more because you think they are an interesting person. She kind of likes you and finds you very intriguing and appreciates that you are also a bookish person.
We'll just kind of smile as she is like purchasing the books and incline her head like around the shop a little bit. I believe I might actually have to come over this side of town a little bit more often if you have books like this around.
Oh, of course. You're more than welcome. Any friend of Electra is welcome here, of course. And I don't get in a lot of new books all the time. most of them come from hunters who find them on their travels, or gifts from Electra and extended family. But, well, I do have a lot, and she just awkwardly kind of, she gestures with her torso, like turning a little bit, and you can, like, once again, just damn near every wall has a bookshelf that goes from floor to ceiling. Higher than you would actually be able to reach on the shelf if you were on your tiptoes.
Would offer some of mine in return, but I don't know that you'll... Oh, I suppose I can ask. Don't know how interested you are in science.
Oh, very. I've kind of taken up a hobby of self-teaching certain things, and maybe some of the sciences could offer me explanations that other things couldn't.
It's a fair guess. Willow just nods, make a mental note to gift a book or two from her collection next time she is in this direction.
Pierre will also, like, standing in line behind Willow, looking at the stack of books she's buying, he will buy one of the cookbooks he saw, which this cookbook is called, like, it's I don't know a better name for it, but it's called, like, roadside cuisine, and it describes how you can make various elegant dishes out of game you find that has been killed or dead on the side of the road. There's processes for cleaning and curing meats that have been out and exposed, is the language used. But it's like Pierre likes cooking and baking. And this is a very useful, albeit weird, place for his hobby to stretch. So he's like, yeah, well, fuck it. I don't know how to cook, like, dead deer
Roadkill.
I find on the side of the road. Might as well learn.
Just Willow spots the title of the book as she's turning around with her books, and there's just a eyebrow raise. Not a comment, just an eyebrow raise.
The like sees the eyebrow raise and then, like, looks left and right and just goes, oh, well, I thought it might be prudent to be able to cook some things that are a bit out of date, or, like, beyond their expiration date, maybe, and I thought it would be better spent cuisine if we are traveling on the road. Maybe I could cook something for us all during the camp down periods. I'm not a hunter, but maybe I can be a little bit of a chef. All I need is a little pot and fire, and it might be useful for if we find something as we are
Pia,
traveling. And
Pia, breathe. No judgment, it does make sense. It's just interesting.
Interesting. Right. Well, thank you. And he turns to Lady and also says, thank you as well. It is a pleasure. And she nods and very warmly smiles. And Electra, you've seen, Lady is a very kind of not emotional person. And she, like, all of the weird strangers you have brought into her shop today, she has gotten such an unusual conversation, but very, very interesting and fun experience with all of these, like, different size and shaped people and weirdos. She's very, like, got a very pleasant, warm smile to her now.
You have entertained
Oh.
your sister.
Yeah. Electra kind of smiles and rubs Lady's hair a little bit. I'll be back soon. Maybe I'll tell you more about this Pandora's Box incident if we resolve it. I'm
Please
sure you'll
do.
love the story.
I would love to hear it, and I'd love it even more if it turned out that Pandora's box was a bunny. And she smiles at Paige, who I don't know if Paige is back yet because groceries, but she's like very quickly preening and straightening her hair again. And if there's anything else, we can all start to have y'all go off in your different directions, bed down for the evening, and then reconvene with some scenes for the following day, because everyone's got their own little corners to take care of.
That sounds like a plan. Let's do it.
Okay. So, everyone starts kind of going off in their separate directions. The hunters going to the hunters' camp, with Electra going to the family estate on the southeast portion of town. Willow, you head back to the lab, to which you find Eustace. Like, Eustace is not like he's kind of looks like he smells like coal metal anyway. He has just the affect about him. So when he's got the plant, he is already like putting it and transplanting it into a more long-term pot, and is preening the leaves with like little bits of dust with a Q-tip, and is prepping it because he wants to play with it too. Paige and Pierre, you start to head either back to your flat or to the family tavern, wherever you'd like to go. If it's all good with y'all, we could go with Maddie and Hawk, because I believe Maddie wanted to share a drink with Hawk and probably have a conversation about things.
I do have a suggestion,
Mhm.
Iris.
Hmm.
Maybe Lady can read those runes on that shovel.
Ooh.
I did think about that when we first got there, but we were having plot talk.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, could you look at that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So before y'all head off in your separate directions, you show her the shovel and the runes on it.
Yeah.
Lady like looks at it, and she is very like traditionally dainty, so she kind of looks at the shovel and holds her hands out to say like, may I? And like hold it, and you put it in her hands, and there is like a noticeable dip. Maddie, you don't have the sort of wherewithal to understand how strong you are sometimes, but the shovel has some heft to it. This is a deceptively heavy shovel that you can kind of tell now when you see Lady like hold it, and she struggles for a second and then sets it partially on the ground and then looks at it.
I was gonna say, when she dips, Maddie will bring her hands back up so that she's holding the weight of it. But like, if you need me to, in a gesture of like, if you need me to turn it or something, let me know.
She just like an awkward moment of like, wow, didn't expect the shovel. It's a shovel. Pretty
Yeah.
much anyone can carry and hold a shovel. You don't expect it to be heavy, at least not that heavy. And then this one is just there's something that has like greatly increased the density of the material somehow. And so she's kind of surprised. But she looks at you, just kind of awkwardly smiles and shrugs like, "Thank you."
No problem.
And she examines the runes. Let me see. So she's pretty good at this. Ah, I dropped a die. Perfect. So as she's looking at it, there's immediately like a little bit of raised eyebrows and like a look of recognition. She goes, "Oh, well, I don't know the language, but I do recognize the text." And she like steps away for a second and goes over to one of the books she had but had not yet put on the shelf, had in that stack, and she grabs like the middlemost one, and she brings it over to you, and like Electra, you would notice that this is probably one of the books that one of your other siblings brought back, because that's kind of like a mutual agreement between like you and them, or like she and them. It's just like anytime you find like weird eclectic magic kind of shit, bring it to Lady.
Yeah.
And like you have distinctly did not see the book or the contents of it, but you know that book because the one brother is the one who brought it back from like 2 or 3 expeditions ago, and they're currently out on an expedition right now. But you remember him like kind of waving it around casually, saying that he was going to take it to her. And as she walks over and shows it to you, Maddie, this book, she turns it over, and on the cover, you actually notice that the book is bound and printed backwards, like not in the typical English American way of like reading from left to right. It is bound, and it seems to be intended to read from right to left, almost like it's Japanese. And the cover is like a canvas green hard covered book with these gold embossed symbols on it that match something similar to what's on the shovel. And you can actually see that 1 or 2 of the actual symbols are identical to what's on the shovel. And she opens it up, and just the whole book throughout is just littered with these symbols. Excuse me. And as well as like other bits and bobs about like images, pictures of. They're not like photographs; they are more like drawings. Drawings of different types of circles and types of. They look like alchemy circles almost, in these weird shapes and like twists and winding little like not sentences but like structures of organized symbols that'll either make like a swoop or like a curve or a spiral. And she just kind of flips a few pages, not really stopping on any one of them for too long. And it's also worth noting that the book itself is not brand new. It looks kind of worn. There's a little bit of like wear and tear to it. But she shows it to you and just goes, this was brought back from our brother on one of the hunts he was on. It was found in some kind of woodland temple. I don't know the language, but if I had to guess, I would say it might be some form of maybe forest nymph language, or maybe an elf language. I've never met an elf, so I don't know. But I was going to take some time over the next few weeks to try and decode it as best I could.
Could I come back once you figure that out?
She nods, like very enthusiastically, and says, "Of course, you are more than welcome to come back once I have a little progress ahead of me."
Well, that sounds perfect. Thanks.
She smiles and nods. And she takes that particular book and sets it aside on the countertop.
Do you want to copy the runes? Would that help you any?
I don't see why I shouldn't. And she'll like take a step back and grab like from a back room, she'll take like a quick run in, grab something and come back out, and she'll have a pen and blank notebook, and she will quickly scrawl some of the symbols she recognizes and some of the ones that she doesn't down from the haft of the shovel.
Does Hawk know what the runes on her weapon say?
Absolutely not.
I was about to say, I feel like Hawk's the kind of
Yeah.
person to go, cool.
Yep.
I'm not
you
gonna
know
think
the
about it.
story, like Maddie. You know the story of how she got the Red King. She was on a hunt. She went to some way far away portion in the woodland, and found the sword stuck in a rock, like at a slightly skewed angle, and like just yanked it out, and she just was like, "Cool, this is mine."
Ah, so Excalibur style. Got it.
It's like Excalibur if Excalibur wasn't like in a very official like this sword is
Yeah.
found in this rock. It's like someone shoved it in a rock as if they were like going to grab it after 2 seconds of setting it there for a minute, and then they just left it. And she literally found it in a rock and grabbed it and was like, "This is mine."
How'd you get
Big
it?
cool sword. That's it.
Did he name it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, she thought it was cool, so she named it because like that's why she named it the Red King, because like Excalibur.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey.
That makes total sense.
Hmm.
And it's red.
Yeah.
So much.
Hawk is a himbo.
She really is.
I gotta have one in every game. It is required.
Hawk is a designated himbo.
Hey, Hawk, come over here. Bring the
Huh?
Red King over here.
She just walks over and like reaches up behind her back and pulls the Red King loose, and you hear like it never fails to make this big, even when she's not doing it quickly. You swear every time she grabs it and hefts it over her shoulders, you hear the big like whoosh of the metal, just the heft of the blade, and she'll bring it down. The sword, like Hawk is a big person. The sword is as tall as Maddie, from tip to from like tip to tail. It is as tall as Maddie. It is a huge weapon. And she'll like stick part of the tip of it in the floor and just kind of wiggle it back and forth and be like, "Yep, what about it?"
Maddie will turn to Lady. You think you could copy those too?
Oh,
Pointing.
she leans really close to the sword, and Hawk just like raises an eyebrow, having never really thought to investigate it. And then Lady will scribble those notes down without like asking permission or hesitating. She just scribbles down exactly what she sees on the hilt. And she gets up to where Hawk's hand is gripping the hilt, and then she looks at Hawk, and then looks at her hand, and then looks at Hawk, and just goes, "Can I see this?" And Hawk just goes, "Oh, sure. Sorry about that. Let me." And she holds it with the tip of her finger pressed into the floor. And like Lady will scribble all of the symbols down, and then nod and say, "Awesome. Thank you. I didn't know that there was so much of this language just already around."
Found it in the forest.
And she nods. "If it is an elven language, then maybe I'll be able to dissect some sort of grammar from it, and maybe these weapons will actually have some sort of story to tell. Who knows? It'll be a fun little experiment to play with."
Well, thanks, Lady.
And she nods, and Hawk, seeing that Lady is done, will pick the sword back up and stick it to her back in the little like hilt slash carrier. And she looks down at the floor where there's like a good 2-inch gouge in the ground, and just kind of rubs it with her foot like it'll rub off like a stain, and just goes, "Sorry about the floor. I didn't mean to." And Lady just goes, "Oh, that's okay. Nobody will trip over it, so it's fine."
Just put a small rug over it.
But is there anything else you guys would want from Lady before? Aside from Electra, everyone else want from Lady before y'all go your separate ways?
I'm good.
Was the evening?
I'm good.
Nice, nice. Okay. Then everyone will head to their respective domiciles as the evening grows ever nearer, and now it is probably even closer to maybe like 8 o'clock, almost 8:30. Nighttime has set in. For Maddie, you are going with Hawk to the hunter's camp to like share drinks. And Electra, were you also going with them?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, then if y'all are okay with it, we can cut to the hunter's camp. Everyone just hanging out in the I was gonna say mess hall, but it's more of just like the communal dining tent gazebo type. Yeah, the hunter's gazebo.
At some point, I do
Okay,
want
Ziva.
to go to the blacksmith and get that weapon identified, but I can wait.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh man, I
Oh, is that a
I don't
gazebo?
know if I'll have it prepared this session, but
That's fine.
I did have a blacksmith NPC set aside. I haven't set up their token yet, but I just remembered like, oh yeah, this was a character I had fleshed out that I wanted to put in because this is great. But yeah, you guys are at the dining tent and just hanging out for the evening. What did you want to talk to Hawk about, if anything specific, or is this just like commiserating?
It was just kind of chilling. I didn't have anything in mind. I'm sure Maddie has words to say, but head empty right now.
Were you wanting to clarify anything about the travel plans?
Oh, yeah. So the plan is she takes one path and we take another, correct?
Correct. I will activate the countryside map here so that you can see. Yes. So the plan was she wanted to go this. What? Give me the free hand. She wanted to go this route, and she was going to ask y'all to go this route.
The thing is, Maddie would try to convince her to take the pathway, but I don't know if everyone else would be up for going through the woods. So it would have to be a group chat, that's why.
I mean, I'm good with either. I think the other thing that's a little bit more important is between the two hunters in particular.
Mm-hmm.
They would have to, like, if you guys are going and knowing that you're going with Willow, Paige, and Pierre, which are not trained hunters, would Maddie and Electra be willing to take them through the forest?
Because I'm sure Willow and Electra can take care of themselves, but having 3 non-combat people to also take care of might be stretching it.
I will say on an above table level, Electra and Maddie would have an intuitive understanding of like most trained hunters are most human trained hunters I should say are like built or taught or raised with this expectation of like, cool, watch your own back, go through the ABCs of making sure you are safe and accounted for, and then worry about those who are around you. Weirdlings are often afforded like teachings of like you're sort of expected to be more selfless, because of the fact that like if they need to bring an Explorers Guild member, weirdlings are the ones who are expected to be like you are the shield to the to the more vulnerable.
The
You're the
weirdlings
shepherd.
are. I was gonna say the weirdlings are expendable.
Cannon fodder, if you would.
Yeah, cannon.
Very
was
that's a good
durable
word.
cannon fodder.
I wasn't thinking expendable. I was thinking just straight up stronger, so they can cover more people.
Mhm.
The general vibe is like because weirdlings have enhanced durability or enhanced strength or enhanced speed or any combination of the two or of two of those, they are typically tasked with like, cool, you're on guard duty, everyone else is on kill duty, and they split the difference between like a human isn't going to be fast enough to watch their own back and watch someone else's back without missing a step potentially in between the two. Weirdlings usually, because of just sheer like innate power that they have, are tasked to be like the tank of the group. So it would be kind of the assumption of like, cool, if we bring these people, it's gonna be on you, Maddie.
Yeah.
How confident are you that you can keep these people safe?
Maddie is hella confident.
Mhm.
Hell yeah.
Like,
Three.
I'm the more you're talking, the more I'm like, yeah, this is totally like how Maddie's train of thought. This makes so much sense to her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
I'm being honest, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We understand that. Doesn't stop the anxiety of like, should that be communicated to Paige, Pierre, and Willow? Of this like immediate, okay, yeah, I've got you, I'm fine, we can handle this. Just like, I don't want to disparage you, but
That's totally what Maddie thinks. It's just the player anxiety of like, oh my god, this one person is in charge for 4 people's lives.
but yeah, that's the thing that like I think is a little bit more important here is like looking at it through the character perspective, Lore's perspective of like, remember, you're talking, because this is a conversation, 3-way conversation happening, Hawk, Electra, and Maddie, of you all have heard and are kind of having to accept that there's 3 very clearly non-combat centric people.
Electra will bring up, why are we bringing the performer and the weird one, the brother, with us?
So Hawk, there's a noticeable like pallor of embarrassment in her face, and she looks at Electra, and she looks at Maddie and says, "Okay, I haven't been perfectly forthcoming with you guys about some of what I was told."
I'm listening.
Narrowed eyes.
Okay, so, and I know what you're gonna say. I know what you're gonna say. But the fortune teller who I saw in the woods, they sort of described what everyone who would be going on this sort of task. And I think it might be your friends. Though it's a little strange, they didn't describe, well, not the boy, but I was told that there would be 2 women, 2 hunters. And she described a person who looks a lot like those 2. I don't remember the exact words. It was, to be honest, it was a little rhymey, poetic, fortune-tellery, but that's not the most compelling thing. The most compelling thing to me was what she said about me and mine.
I'm listening.
Well, that's sort of it. This fortune teller described people who looked like well, those 2 we met today, or I met today. And that you would be the ones to safely get Pandora's box. There's not much else I can really say than that.
And there's nothing else that you've told us about this fortune teller's prophecy.
And she holds up her hand and puts her other hand over her heart, and she goes, "Listen, Scout's honor, I'm not telling you what she said that convinced me it was true. And I'd prefer not to. But I'm telling you everything about you all. And that, well," and she looks around. There's no other hunters in the tent at the moment. But she says, and also about what she said regarding the hunters.
Hi, Hazel. Hi, baby. Hi.
Now listen, I ain't no pushover. She points a thumb at her chest. She just goes, "Y'all know I'm a hunter worth my salt. And I'm telling you, this... It's got something to it."
As much as I'm suspicious of this fortune teller, I mean, I'm already in this anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And I could totally protect them, so.
Hawk
With
smiles.
another hunter too, it'll be easy.
Well, I'd rather us focus on the mission, but I suppose it cannot be helped.
She puts a hand on either of your shoulders in this, like, across the table gesture of camaraderie and just goes, "I know y'all can do this. I know it in here." And she takes a hand off of Maddie's shoulder and, like, puts a fist up and kind of pounds it against her heart. She just goes, "Fortune teller or not, I think this is big, and I think you all can handle it."
Oh, we're only after quite a living, quite possibly mobile incarnation of all the world's evil. No problem.
None at all.
She shrugs and says, "Yeah, that's no, walk in the park, but being a hunter is never walk in the park."
Well, that's true enough, I suppose.
She looks you up and down, Electra, and says, I always heard rumors about your family. Is it true y'all have, like, a actual for real curse, or is that just..." And she just kind of waves a hand as if to imply, like, is it just nonsense, or is it like a legit curse?
Electra kind of flinches a little bit. No, it's certainly real.
No
Honest to
shit.
God, death curse.
Whoa.
Yeah, I bet you... Well, you don't pay attention. You know about the Valentine family? She elbows Maddie.
Nope.
An old family. I knew your dad. And she gestures to Electra.
Yeah, my dad knew everybody.
He's a good man.
She nods.
Never really, got to be with him for much of my time when I was a lot younger, but I went on a couple hunts once or twice, heard stories about him, talked to him a few times. I heard about the curse. I heard about it happening. At first I thought it was just all nonsense, but that was before I really started to wise up and learn better.
Yeah, I don't know what did it, but it seems to be affecting the rest of us as well, so... Me, lady, older brother, we don't have much time left.
You just mentioned your older brother, and Hawk just kind of like raises her eyebrows and does this slight head tilt and takes a sip of a drink. And it's the sort of gesture that's just like, whew.
Mhm.
He's a talented one. Your brother. Just a little, kind of nods, does like the eyebrow raise again.
Electra nods. She understands.
And she looks at Maddie and just goes, "Yeah, you
Mind
probably
filling me
never
in?
got to..." Oh, sure. Oh. No, they're a prolific group. A group of them. So, older siblings of hers, gestures to Electra. But they make a hell of a pair, or hell of a trio. News keeps them going around the clock. They're usually always out somewhere doing something, ruining some monster's good day. Yeah, but every once in a while they'll be back. Usually not back for very long. That's probably for the best, because two of them are kind of a lot. No offense, says
Oh
Electra.
no. Oh no. My brother uses a body bag as a weapon. He's a lot.
Well, you can't fill it up with the body, he'll put rocks in it. And just like tilts her drink to Maddie. You'd like
That is so metal.
She kind of tilts her head back and forth, like, just kind of goes, "Oh yeah, it's something."
I think you'd like my brother, oddly enough.
Yeah, he's young.
Maddie,
All of them are young and hot-blooded as hell.
Maddie has a look of like not thinking hard, but like imagining. Just thinking, bag of rocks. Interesting.
New tactic unlocked.
We'll remember this for later.
Hawk nods and like looks at Maddie, and you both know like there's a good number of hunters that you won't know them all, but you would probably recognize them like by their face or by their demeanor. Like you could see someone from across the room and be like, "Oh yeah, I think that's one of my coworkers," but you don't know their name. There's a couple hundred hunters, maybe like 250. I think I had said a different number before, but it's always kind of fluctuating depending on if some number die or not, and some number are newly trained and no longer recruits. But the Valentine family is one that is both old and new, and there are some hunters who have never heard of it, and some hunters, fucking words. There are some hunters who have never heard of it, and some hunters who know it very well. And Hawk is one of the few who knows it very well. And she just like tips her glass to Electra and just goes, "Good on you for keeping a level head on your shoulders. I think that's why you're probably Noose's favorite of the bunch."
There's no way I'm the favorite out of the bunch.
Well, you'd be surprised. Noose lets slip a lot of little interesting tidbits around me.
I
She,
admit I'm a little intrigued.
She has an eye patch, but you get the impression that she winks with her one eye blink.
I admit I'm a little intrigued.
I promised her over drinks that I wouldn't share, though.
But you'll tell me, right? She kind of
She
leans
was-
close.
I'll tell you that you annoy the piss out of her, but you do good work.
Ugh.
So, if you all think you're capable enough, which I think you are, to keep those girls safe, you can help me, and you can get this box back home and locked up tight and safe.
And yeah, I'll take the job, of course.
Looks at Maddie.
Said yes, didn't I?
I'm just double checking. You know, you young kids make up your mind, and then you make up your mind again, and then you make up your mind a third time. I don't know. Shit changes. That's
You'll
good.
take the pathway, right?
And there's like a hitch in her hand as she goes to take another sip, and then she tilts her head and takes a sip and just goes, listen, I'm old now. And she flicks a little bit, like takes her hand and flicks her gray hair a little bit. And she just goes, I can't walk that far without getting grumpy. So I'd like to take the shorter path. But if y'all want to take the woodland path. And she kind of exhales and just stares at her cup for a second. It'll be tight. It'll be real dangerous. There's a lot of weird shit in there, but
We'll take the short route. They can deal.
hey, it's gonna be you and you that are dealing, and she points to you both individually.
Well, Willow did say she could maybe get a horse or something for you. And maybe if Malik and Zen are back.
Hey, if they manage to get back anytime soon, I'll make sure to mention in my note to Noose that they should go around a certain section of the woods. See if we can't get you all some extra backup. Send the cavalry in.
Yeah. So
And
you've
shoot.
already marked us, or you've let Noose know that we're helping you with this then.
She's halfway through taking a sip and then puts her drink down and just goes, sorta. Don't worry about Noose. If she gets pissed off, it's at me.
Mm. Your problem to deal with.
She smiles and kind of like smiles and shrugs. Just goes, exactly. Let me worry about Noose. You don't gotta worry about her. But you guys take the shorter path, and I'll see if I can't leave quick fast and get a head start on the long way. I'll see what I can find. But if I hear bad news, I'm turning all the way north and I'm just gonna come find your ass in the woods. I don't care. And she points at both of you like, got it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's why you're not going to hear bad news.
Nods, takes a sip of her drink. Good. Well, if it's all the same to you, I'm gonna hit the hay. Because I'm exhausted. And I've coughed enough today to put an old man in the ground. So, I'm gonna go to bed.
Night.
Good night.
She'll
You'll
get up from
lightweight.
her chair. There's a brief hesitation when you say lightweight, and she looks at her drink, and there's a flash of like youthful, chaotic little shit energy She looks at her drink and just kind of tilts her jaw to the side, and for a half second you can see her contemplating, like, should I just pour it on her head? And then she smiles and just takes a sip and puts it back down. And then we'll flip you off and then head out of the tent.
I think that's the most restraint I've seen her have in a while.
I can still hear you.
You gotta
Walks out of the
test.
tent.
You gotta test the elderly every now and then.
When she was younger, she would have just drunken it.
That gets a chuckle out of her.
Maddie will drag the rest of her drink over to her side. And that is mine.
Well, the rest of us younglings can drink to our heart's content.
Cheers to that.
Clink. Ugh.
Hell yeah. Okay. So if that's good, we can transition to the Delaunay child or Paige, because you guys have people you need to talk to as well.
The Delaunay child.
I was gonna say the Delaunay child. Makes Willow seem like she's like a 10-year-old girl. Bossing people around.
This could also be in the same night, or it could be the following day. We could transition to the morning.
I mean, well, Paige's family is up at night. They have a tavern to run that night.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead with Paige, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. I gotta do like 5 different versions of French and make sure that none of them sound the fucking same.
Have fun.
We didn't even get to her female cousin either earlier.
Okay. So Paige, either later that evening or in the following morning, when would you want to approach her family about, like, hey, going on an adventure?
What time did she get home? Did she and Pierre get
It
back?
would be probably close to 9 o'clock.
Okay, I imagine while they were walking, Paige kind of freezes, and then she looks up at Pierre, and just a look of horror is on her face as she realizes, I was supposed to work at the bar an hour ago.
You have that realization, and Pierre is just like slowly covers his mouth and runs a hand, that like same hand covering his mouth, runs through his hair, and he just goes like, "It was nice knowing you."
I'm going to just blame it on you. Let's go. Hurry up. Move to the
Blame it on
lights.
me. You fucking, you're just like following after you.
She's fucking running. He's like, shit.
So let me get
Opening water bottle number 3 up.
nice. So you arrive at what is the tavern called?
The Misty Tulip.
The Misty Tulip. Yes, so as you are running down the street, you can see that the Misty Tulip, which there's no like official outdoor seating to this place. It's kind of your standard tavern where there's like the storefront, which is mostly concrete and wood, like a mix, or not concrete, stone and wood, like a mix, to set the front of the tavern up to make it look like this homey little inn. And despite not having like an outdoor seating area, there are people who just kind of meander outside because the tavern gets pretty tightly packed, and it gets quite hot with all of the bodies in there. So people will just kind of skulk around outside with their mugs and their cups. And as you approach, you can see that there's quite a few people just standing around outside. A couple of people who are just like shooting the shit, talking about their day at work, talking about the Inquisition, talking about the church, just any sort of random bullshit to complain about or to commiserate about is being shared. It's a very social space with a lot of energy, and as you see that, Pierre like starts hustling quickly. He just goes, "Oh, it is a busy night. Okay, cool, good. Well, so we are super late."
Super, shoot. Excuse me. This is the way. Yeah, Papa's not going to kill me, right?
Wait, who's not going to kill you? Sorry.
She said Dad, essentially Papa. He's like, he's not going to kill me, right?
Pierre just like rolls his eyes and he's just like, "No, he could never kill you. You're his favorite."
Oh, you say that so he trains with you every day.
It is not training. It is a form of soft torture. He is making me to be. He is fucking training me to be a fighter for no good bloody reason.
You're a special star student. Of course he's going to train you every day.
It is because I am the only son. That
Get
is
out
why.
of the way,
There
the
is no
door, I
good
need to get
reason.
in. Just move.
This whole issue is gendered. It is a gendered issue. It is so unfair. Why did you have to break your wrist against his fist?
You think I wanted to break my wrist? Just, Pierre, move and wait.
And you push in through the tavern, and like the tavern noise starts to pick up a lot more, and you can hear like the sounds of people playing a game, the sounds of people making orders, the sounds of people just like chatting. You can hear generic like music happening in the corner, not from people you have hired to come in and like play, but more from just people who are there and they just enjoy playing, because this is kind of like a welcoming space for people to do that.
The vibe is right.
Mm-hmm. And you can also feel like it is a crisp January, but when you open the door to the tavern, you get a wave of like humid heat, like warm, piping hot body heated room. And it is like suddenly, oh, okay, cool. I don't need a jacket, and I could probably take off the top layer of shirt and still have like an undershirt on and be more than okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you bust in and you can see like there is your mother and father who are working behind the bar. Your mother is frantically like filling up a couple cups and glasses and passing them out to the most recent requests. And the father is like the tavern is not so busy at the bar specifically that both of them need to be like double fist handing people drinks. Your dad is actually just talking to two people who are sitting at the bar. Like they have the bar side seating. He's just like chatting with them, talking about something, and then like wiping a glass that has probably been clean for a while. But
Sigh of relief.
I need.
If it was super swamped, they would be dead. Because, yeah, she was supposed to be at the bar an hour ago, but guess who was supposed to be in the kitchen an hour ago? They're in this shit together.
True. But it's fine.
It's fine.
Let me see. Sorry, hold on. I am getting some pictures really quick.
I have all of the pictures.
Okay, so you walk up and there's There's enough of a lull in the energy that you're able to like kind of squeeze in without being too out of the way. And once you like kind of elbow in and kind of get close to the bar and sneak past, Pierre goes off and like slips in a different direction to scoot into the kitchen, trying to not be seen.
Paige is like ducking behind the patrons, trying to get to the room behind the bar.
If you want to try to not be noticed by your folks,
Just trying, yeah.
go ahead and roll me a stealth check at 3 purple.
Oh boy.
Parents see everything.
shot.
Shit.
Roll me a d2.
Okay.
Higher is better.
It's a D2.
Yeah. Higher is better. There you go. So you're sneaking by, and then like you're about at the door to sneak in past where the bar is and into the back room so that you can get ready. And immediately you hear like, Beige? I see you. Mais petit chauffeur, why are you so late to your shift? And your dad like cranes way over 2 of the guests.
I imagine she's looking right up. It's like, I was in the area and I lost track. Pierre can explain it.
Oh, can he now explain this?
He can explain everything. But I need to go and get trust so I can, work the bar because, I want to help and, work the shift because I'm a good patient.
He like the whole time he has still had this like kind of half smile on his face. He just raises his eyebrow and then like rolls his eyes and just goes, Go get ready for your shift. I will be here waiting for you."
Okay, it's good. And remember, it was Pierre's fault. See you soon.
He just like shakes his head and watches you escape. You open the door and immediately you see Pierre, who's just like throwing his hands up, just like, "What do you mean it was Pierre's fault? I did not do anything."
Fucking throws her hands up like, get to work.
So you get ready for your shift and then rush back out. And you see your dad standing there, like still kind of not angrily waiting, but there's like the half tapping of his foot. And your mother is off like tending to guests at tables and like collecting their orders, collecting any sort of like cups and goblets and other drink pieces. And your dad just like arms crossed looks at you and raises an eyebrow and just goes, "And where were you this evening? And this morning? You got up so early to..." Oh, you actually don't live with them, so he's just like, "You woke up when? And you have been doing what for this whole time?" "I did not know there was a show going on today. I do not think there was."
No, but we made some new friends and we went on a walk. Exercise is good, yeah?
He raises an eyebrow again and just goes, "You want on a walk? You want on a walk for an hour right before you are supposed to be here?"
Well, it was a very long walk.
Mm-hmm. "And where did you go on this walk?" "I trust it was somewhere very good. Somewhere well worth walking to."
Just as a matter of opinion, it was interesting. Lots of plants.
Just again, like, nonplussed, raises an eyebrow. And you can tell this is, like, he's not really mad, but he's pretend mad enough that you're like, okay, I should explain myself.
You know, just like, you know.
Hmm. Well, now that you're here, I'm going to defer to you all of the drink orders, and you will take care of it. I think it is time for me to go on a walk.
But it's too late. You know, it's.
He takes off his
This is
apron,
beautiful.
and
Paige
he
is like gonna like fucking run, stand in front of him, like both hands like on his chest. It's like, you know, hold on. Maybe the walk could be tomorrow morning. You know, when it's bright and sunshine and you know not dark and spooky.
Oh,
But
you
it's
just
all.
went on a walk in the dark and spooky night, and you
No,
said it
no,
was
no, no,
lovely.
I got back here before it got dark and spooky.
He, like, immediately narrows his eyes and just goes, "So your walk was earlier? And where did you walk to?"
Shit. Shit.
Do not try to pin this on Pierre.
To be fair, he was on the walk as well. You know.
Oh, I know. I know that he is on the walk, because your auntie Eleanor had to do the cooking, because Pierre was not here.
Oh no. You let her do the cooking.
He just shrugs and just, like, gestures to the people around in the room. He just goes, "What did you have me do? Not feed the patrons?"
No, you're right, you're right. We went on a hike for a few hours out of the city, you know, just nature and trees and little bit plants. Have you heard of corn nettles? They're very stinky. But we got back like an hour ago and we did a stop on the west side of the city and then we came back here and then I realized I was late and then we ran over here. Because, you know, I'm a
blinks
good
and,
page. I
like,
don't want to be late.
He blinks and, like, there's a little bit of, like, a head shake and then, like, what? And then puts his hands on his hips and leans forward. And, like, he's not an exceptionally tall person, but he is tall compared to Paige. So when he puts his hands on his hips and, like, leans forward, he does kind of loom over her, even though he's, like, 5'10". And he, like, very, very exaggeratedly, like, raises an eyebrow and sticks out his lower lip, and he just goes, "You are out of the city? What were you doing out of the city? Were you out of the city for the past hour?"
Alarm bells are going off in Paige's mind. Sirens. Is this
Purge
one
siren.
Yeah. She's like, quick time event. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. She's- Oh, it's you know, these plants are outside the city, so we just look like in the near the trees. Not going too deep into the forest at all. No. It was very close. Isn't we all back? It was just one day out.
He, like, blinks and goes to open his mouth and ask something, and then there is, like, a call from behind him, and he turns and just goes, "We are not finished having this discussion, you and I, and I wanted to know what you were up to, why you were out playing around in the woods, going on a walk," he says in quotation marks,
It was
"with your
a hike.
brother."
Hikes are supposed to be outside.
He turns around and starts marching towards where people are, like, barking for drink orders. And from behind you, you feel like a presence,
No.
the weight of. There is a weight of someone who has who has, like, caught you, and from behind you, like, look up and you can see it is, like, the sterling steel gaze of your mother, who is staring at you with a half-lidded gaze.
Hey, Mama.
It is good to see you are back so late for your shift.
You know what time is very,
I
fast.
know you are a magician, but you are not supposed to make yourself and your brother disappear.
But do we reappear? Jazz hands.
She, like, very blasé, like, just shakes her head and rolls her eyes and just goes, "Oh, what are you doing? I only heard the briefest explanation of what you are talking about with your father, and he said, and you said that you were outside the city. Explain yourself right now."
We just went on a little hike. We were with that group, It wasn't just me and Pierre. There's
You
people
were with the group?
others.
What group? What is this group you were with?
The bar is busy.
She, like, sits up straight and then looks over and sees your dad, like, again, laughing and commiserating with people, taking the glass that he did clean and handing it to someone, and filling it up with a drink. And then she looks back down to you and just goes, "You are lucky your father is very good at talking people up so that they forget to drink."
We just made some new friends, and they're very big and strong. And so we went out to the city on a little hike, just to see the trees and the new plants and get some fresh air. And then we got back in time, but then I got a bit distracted meeting someone else in the city, and then I realized way too late that I was late for my shift. And so I ran over.
She, like, sighs, and there's a slight cock to her hip where she leans to one side and puts her face and her hand on the other side and just goes, "Oh, you're going to age me another 10 years.
You will age beautifully?
Oh, I know that I will. But why were you with these new people? What made you, under what circumstances were you possessed to go on a hike in the woods with these strangers you met? I know they were probably friendly, and they were probably at your show, but I do not know these people.
Oh, no, but I met them, and they're very nice.
She, like, nods and just goes, "Okay, so I see. They were very nice. And so
Yes.
why did you go on this hike?"
Because I was invited, and I wanted to see what was happening.
And she, like, leans in real close, and you can see that she has this inscrutable sort of, like, searching gesture, searching expression on her face. She is, like, very, very intensely looking at you, and she will ask very plainly, she's like, "Is this with Riley? Are you up to something? Are you planning on eloping with this boy now?"
What? No, come on. He wasn't even there.
She raises her eyebrows and just goes, "Were you with another boy?"
No.
She leans back a little bit. "Were you with a girl?"
Yes, but not like that.
And she
She, like,
shrugs.
puts her, like, hands, like, in her hair, like, pulling it a little bit. Besides, it's just like, it's not like that at all, man. I just made some new friends, and they were very nice, and we went on a little mini adventure. Just fresh air.
And she just shakes her head and sighs and goes, "Oh, I suppose if it was just childish fun, that's one thing. But now that you're here, I'm planning on doing a couple of special events with your father tomorrow and the next evening after that, and maybe we could have another performance here. We're planning out the week, and you will be here for the week. Yes?"
Ooh, quick check with the group. Did we get a timeline on when we're leaving the city again?
Like after a day, right? Wasn't that the thing?
Mm-hmm. That my understanding was within like the next day and a half.
Yeah, you got like 48 hours, girl.
Yeah, and they just like, You know, I think we have a few things worked
Hold
out.
that thought. I have to attend, and she like
Sweet.
sees a person behind you, and then was just like, "One moment, I'm coming to get your order." And she sidesteps you and just starts walking away, and then you like turn around and watch her like sift in like quietly sift away into the cloud or into the crowd of people and start to disappear amongst the just many different bodies that are out there. And then from behind you, you feel like a tap on the shoulder, and it's your dad again.
Oh. She just puts her fucking head in her hands. She's like, oh no.
And he puts his hands on his hips and just goes, "Now, where were we? We left off with you out on some walk with some group."
Why can't you two just talk to me at the same time?
He looks up and looks around and just gestures with both hands and just goes, "We are very busy. You're lucky we are not taking you into the back room and, I don't know, lecturing you or something. Being more aggressively parenting with it. I am being a very considerate father."
She's good cop, bad cop. Okay, so yes, new crop, and you know, that's very nice. We went on a little trip, we got back into the city, and then I got distracted meeting someone new, and then we got back here, almost in time.
He like nods, listening, and then just does the hand gesture of like, "Go on."
Just, that's it. That's it.
That is all? Oh.
Sort of.
You say sort of, and then immediately he just crosses his arms and just goes, "What did you mean sort of?"
Well, this is all for today, and so we did today, you know, went on a hike. You miss some people. Well, not miss some people. You miss some like yesterday. Anyway, my mom was just telling me to planning the week, and we're going to be a bit busy. Starting tomorrow, I think.
Well, that is okay. I suppose if you are busy during the day, you will still be able to come here in the evening. Your mother and I were planning on trying to get you to do a show here. It's been a while since you've done one in-house here, and we like your shows. They attract a lot of people.
I can do one tomorrow, but I won't be able to do after that.
He just blinks, and then raises an eyebrow. Why not? Why would you not be able to do a show here after tomorrow? Are you giving up magic?
What? No.
There's like a huge sigh of relief.
Never. I'm the best magician.
I thought you were having a crisis of faith, and I was worried because I did not know how to tell you that you should not have that. You should not give up your magic.
Never. No. I'm the best magician. What would happen if I wasn't one? It'd be like
I don't know.
no
That is
magician.
why I was so concerned. But why would you not be able to do a show here tomorrow?
Because you see, there is a bit of a complication.
And what kind of complication is that?
Oh, okay. Hold on. Holds out a pinky. Promise to not be mad.
There's like a tensing to his body, and just like he sighs, and there you can see in your dad's eyes like very obvious like favoritism and like softness, and he just holds out his pinky and will pinky promise.
Okay, so
Smile.
he like lean, like gestures for him to like lean down.
He leans down.
Okay, so I may have planned to go traveling with them starting tomorrow, or the day after tomorrow. I need to talk with them and see when we're leaving. But I'm going to not be in the city for I think a couple of weeks.
He leans back like very suddenly and just goes, "You're going on a road trip? You're taking your show on the road?"
Yes, I think.
he like there's a moment where you're not sure if he's mad or not, and then he just brings his hands up to his face and then just like rubs his eyes a little bit and just goes, I knew this day would come. I knew there would be a day when we could no longer keep you under our roof and you would take your show onto the road. Only to visit us once a year until we are old and grey.
Papa, you're fucking dramatic.
And you would travel from city to city and entertain the masses and make yourself a worldwide household name.
What?
I
No,
knew it would happen.
no, it's just one trip. I plan on coming back here.
Are you
I-
taking Pierre? I assume you must, because you will of course need a stagehand.
Oh, he is my assistant. But if he wants to go, he doesn't have to. I'm not going to force him. But he seems to want to join me because, well, I'm going.
He puts his hands on his hips again, and then like he does a very similar pose to you, what your mother did, and kind of cocks his hip to the side and just goes, "You know that boy would go everywhere with you if he could. He does not want you to go anywhere alone. That would be even a little bit dangerous."
Yes. So, that is the thing, you know? We're leaving soon, maybe in the next day or so. So I can do a show tomorrow. But after that, we have to go.
He nods and just puts his hands over his heart and says, "I understand completely. It is only, again, a matter of time until you grew wings too big for this small and petite roof to contain."
I'm coming back, Papa. I'm not leaving forever.
Yes, we will see you in a year or so whenever
don't
you
even
have
know.
traveled the countryside.
I need to be a few weeks at most.
He nods, but you're not sure he heard you.
Oh, like so dramatic.
He puts the back of his hand to his forehead and just goes, "I must go tend to the bar before the sadness overtakes me and I am left distraught and on the ground in a puddle of my own tears."
We're working the bar together.
He starts to like walk backwards to a further end of the bar.
I'm not so dramatic, am I? No. It's just him.
From behind you, your mother shows up again and just goes,
Motherfucker.
your mother's like, "So, what's the conversation? Something about a tour? Is there someone going on tour?"
What? You two need to talk to me at the same time. What's that? Every time it's back and forth, back and forth. One thing here, one thing there. You don't.
She holds up a finger and very pointedly like waggles the finger at you and just goes, "Do not test me, I'm your mother, and you will treat me with respect, young lady."
Freezes, pauses, shuts up immediately.
Now, what is this about the tour?
Okay, so here we go again. It's friends that we went out to act with. We invited to, go on a trip with them somewhere, and it's going to be a few weeks. We're leaving the next day or so. So we can
She
do
shakes
it
her head
tomorrow.
and then like goes, "You are going on a tour?"
I wouldn't call it a tour, but if you want it to be a tour, can we?
For how long? Are you taking Pierre?
Pierre de Carmen.
She like looks slightly distraught and just goes, "Oh, I knew this day would come. Your father told me this day would come, and I knew in my heart
Mama,
that it was true,
please.
but I did not want it to be true."
I'm not gone forever. It's not going to be visit until a year. It's just, a few weeks, maybe a month, maybe it's two at the most. I plan to come home. It's not forever. It's just,
She
a
nods.
little bit.
Also halfway not sure. You're kind of not sure if she heard you entirely, but she nods and just goes, "I suppose we will see you in at least the following 6 months to a year."
Oh my goodness.
At
It's way
least,
too dramatic.
are you going to take Riley with you, or does he know at
Oh,
all?
shoot. Is it already? He doesn't know. I haven't spoken to him since yesterday.
She puts her hand over her mouth and then just is like a little bit aghast and just goes, "Are you going to leave him?
What?
Please don't say that. It would break my heart if you were to leave this boy. He is so infatuated with you."
We're not leaving him. I plan on, going on a little trip with some friends. I have to, let him know that I'm going away for a bit, but I'm not leaving him alone. For the love of God, Joe.
Yes.
Oh my God, please don't. Please don't. It'd be funny, but oh my God.
Guess who walks through the door?
Yeah. Just in time to hear her say, "I'm not leaving him."
No, he is. He does
Okay.
not walk through the door.
Okay.
So much
The
of Paige is starting to make sense.
your mom, like, she just puts her hands on either side of her cheeks and just goes like, "Oh, well, I suppose someday I will see you two get married, but maybe not for a few years, until you have traveled yourself, tired, and you no longer wish to see the world. But it is only fair. You are young, and you have love in your heart and wings that you just need to let fly."
I'm not going away forever.
Of course you're not. We will see you next year.
Is that what, a month or two?
And she blinks and then kind of tilts her head to the side and just goes, "You're coming back in a month or two? So soon?
Oh,
But
well,
is your
that's-
tour not going to be at least a month of touring or not?"
Look, well, I don't know exactly how long it's going to take. It's going to be pretty far.
From the
But-
other side of you, you hear just like, "I was telling her that I thought that her tour would go on so long, but she apparently is only going to be away for a few weeks."
Well, the discipline, it might, change. Things pop up. It's, we are traveling very far. I will have more information before I
And
leave.
where are you going?
City. That way.
And she
Points.
She blinks for a second and then just raises an eyebrow and just goes, "Well, that is understandable. I suppose if you must go, then you will go. But at least remember us while you are traveling."
Oh, no, I'm not going to forget any of you. Oh my goodness. Look, why doesn't Henry ever get this treatment? He's off and out all the time. We hardly ever see him, but you don't do this.
Like the mom just like immediately straightens up and just goes, "Oh, my baby boy, he is going to be gone for weeks." And she rushes into the back room.
Sigh of fucking relief is like, okay, he gets one. It's
Uh,
only fair.
Your dad takes a few steps to walk so that he's standing in front of you, but he's looking at the back door that is like swinging, doing that thing where it's like "Tukun, tukun, 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 tukun." And he just like, "Well, you have certainly given your brother something to deal with."
I feel a little bad for Pierre. But only
"Do you feel a little bad for me or for your mother? You are going off to be famous and to travel the world with your show. What about us? We are going to be here with the inn and
It's the best
just
thing in
your
the city.
auntie."
And Auntie Ellie is not so bad. It's not so bad.
He just tilts his head a little bit and just goes, "Oh, well, I suppose if you are. But is there something that you need from us before you are prepared to go? Do you need new suitcases or boxes to pack your things? Do you need new stage equipment?"
Well, it's not exactly only a tour. It's activity. Maybe a suitcase or something. You know, if you want to do something, but that's pretty much it. It's just to kind of have everything, you know. Oh! Grabs onto his arm. There's something very important you need to do.
He blinks. Yeah.
So, all of the plants at the apartment, you need to water them twice a week.
He blinks and salutes. And just goes, "This I will do. I will keep your plants safe and alive until you return from your tour."
Okay. Don't
He
let Mama
crosses
touch
his
them.
heart.
Don't let Mama touch them.
He, like, very solemnly closes his eyes and nods and just goes, "Your mother will never know of our secret pact to keep your plants alive."
Nod. Very solemn. Gives a salute back. Okay, I don't want the reason to die because she's
From the back room, you can hear, like, you hear, like, like, the muffled voice of your mother, and you hear, like, just a very, very also muffled shout of just like, "Paige!"
Is there who's shouting for Paige?
Pierre.
Is that a actually calling her over, or are they like, "God damn it, Paige"?
The second.
Okay, she's like, points to a passerby next, one of the people next to the bar sitting down, hears that, pointedly looks at the door, turns around. Hello, you said you wanted a drink, yeah?
Your dad will turn and like gesture to the bar so that you can take over.
Yeah, she'll take over. She's like, I'm not dealing with the kitchen right now. I'll take the bar.
Okay. Then if there's nothing else you wanted to try and discuss with your family, the rest of the night goes pretty well, pretty smoothly, all things considered. It's just a matter of trying to smooth things over with Pierre now because you've sicked the mother on him.
Not intentionally.
Never intentionally,
No, never
But-
intentionally.
but unfortunately,
It's obvious which parent has a favorite.
this is true.
Man. I mean, that's it. She'll work the bar like usual, full of all her neat little tricks
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. But yeah, that's it for the tavern.
Okay. Then the last one on the list. Let's see.
Hi. I'm mostly
Willow.
here. I'm still eating, so sporadic.
Perfect. I want... This sounds probably right. So, would this be the following day, possibly? Or would it be in the evening, or would Willow wait to talk to... Which sibling would she want to talk to? I should ask.
Imagine through the night she went back to the shop and settled things with Eustace for like what needs to be done, what orders need to go out still, what orders have come in that she can maybe not build but tinker with or think on the road. And then so it would be the next morning that she would go to the estate.
Perfect.
And I imagine Emerson is always there.
Mm-hmm.
Much like Willow, Tristan has a separate residence or separate place that he can stay. So it's a kind of a flip of the coin of if he is there, and then a flip of the coin if Lorelai's there.
Yes. So you would know from your time arriving, Lorelei is out on an expedition.
Mm.
Tristan is out with the church as he has become more far more busy than um, uh, as of late.
He's gotten sucked into the ghoul investigation.
Correct. He has been very, very deeply and thoroughly involved with the ghoul stuff. That's too triumphant. Something subtler. But Emerson is, of course, at the estate, and when you had gone to see him at this particular time, he is, of course, like knows in a not on a book, but in a like
Ledger.
yes, that's what I was thinking of, like legal pad. No, ledger is exactly it. He has his nose in a ledger, sifting through numbers and crunching some financials. And the estate itself is one of like not like gross opulence. It is very ergonomic. Emerson is the one who lives most of his time, or spends most of his time here, and he is a very efficient-minded kind of person. And even when, even before he had sort of kind of taken over the grounds to manicure them in his own particular way, it was always this very it always had the airs of a a well-to-do family, but not one that was well-to-do in a way that was like showboaty about it. It was very just professional and efficient, and like we show the diligence of hard work and intelligence and what comes from like organized efficiency, as opposed to like we just want to have a big expensive house and a big expensive yard and that sort of thing. But you find Emerson on the grounds, like currently sitting in the large dining room area at the end of a long table. He sits adjacent to the head of the table. So not at the actual head chair, but one to the side of it. And he, as he sits there, like his currently like thumbing through the ledger he has, he doesn't look up as you enter, but you do hear him say, just like, "Ah, hello, Willow."
Willow just kind of smile and imagine pick up like a little bit of fruit or a little piece of bread or something that is like out on the table. Just like go around the side of the table that he is on, pat him on the shoulder, and then move around the head of the table to the opposite side of him to like face him and sit down. Oh, how is my favorite brother doing?
He like there's a almost too long awkward pause, and then the page of the ledger is turned, and he nods to himself, affirming something mentally, and just goes, "Your favorite brother is well. How is my adoring sister?"
Oh, business is continuing to pick up, and of course, the allowance from the family is always a boon. Clockwork a trade, but well enough. See that Tristan isn't bothering you at the very least.
Not at the moment. He is not bothering me, though he did leave a note for you. And he reaches into like a coat pocket and pulls out a small envelope and will slide it across the table to you. And half the time, he's not talking like with his eyes on you. He is like kind of scanning a document. He'll look up and then scan a document, and then look up and then scan a document.
Mm-hmm. Well, not perturbed by this in the least. We'll just pick up the envelope, and while she is like eating the apple, we'll skim through whatever Tristan has to say.
So you pick up this envelope, and of course, like official church like trappings. It has the official church wax seal. It has the church like filigree on the envelope. It's signed by Tristan. Like it is like from the desk of the like second attorney to whatever. Like it is this very formal document. It's just over the top. And you get to the part where it talks like he there's the formal part of the letter on the top half, and then the bottom half of the letter, Tristan says, "Dearest sister, thank you again for your lovely assistance regarding the Ghoulite investigation that occurred on January the what day was it?
2 days ago.
Yes, I believe it was the 27th or 28th, January the 28th, in 1899, like specifically dating it. And he'll say, "We have henceforth found a reasonable suspicion that we believe to have we believe have incited, or I don't know the word for it, that we believe to have required additional attention from the church. But the church wanted to make its formal thanks to you and yours for their part in preventing a wider spread issue related to the Ghoulites." And you basically just read that this is essentially a very glorified thank you note, with the one thing that sticks out to you is that there is like a weird indication, there's a weird bit of wording that says like they have found something that they suspect to need more attention. And he doesn't go into much more of it. He doesn't explain himself. But that part raises or catches your attention.
Willow just like rolls her eyes initially at realizing what it is when she's read like the first like 2 or 3 lines, and then continues to read it all the same, and then kind of pauses and tilts her head. Emerson, dear.
Mm.
I do need a little bit of your focus for about the next 5 minutes.
That immediately, like the ledger just snaps shut, and he sets it down, and will like reach up and adjust his. He wears glasses, right?
I think so, if I remember
Yes.
correctly.
He reaches up and like kind of very daintily adjusts the glasses to the bridge of his nose, and will wipe a hand and kind of pull the hair back from his face. And he'll be like, "How can I help?"
Have you heard about what happened about 2-3 nights ago with the Ghoulites?
He rubs the edge of his nose and just like goes, "I have." Tristan was in a tizzy about it. He was very upset with something going on in parts of the church in the upper echelons that I'm not privy to, but I have heard about it. Why do you ask?
She'll nod and turn the letter towards Emerson with like a single tap of like the line she is interested in. Anything he was fussing about sound anything like this?
Emerson leans forward and reads the line, and there is a twitch like right around his eyebrow that you recognize that thought of like that like little single eyebrow twitch is like the rooting round in his mind for something kind of twitch. And he like leans back after reading it and just goes, "Hmm. I do remember one thing he had said. He said that there was something wrong with the defenses in the city, and that the church would have to take over. He didn't say why. He didn't say much more about it other than that it was a legal issue that was going to be pushed very, very quickly, according to the language he was using. He was very interested in the church acquiring the City Watch, which is interesting. I figured the church liked them where they were, but evidently they want a little bit more out of them."
Just, there's a very sour look on Willow's face at that. Uh, somehow I'm not surprised, but that would make some sense. Ghoulites got in and were actually let in, as far as I could tell.
Emerson's like one eyebrow slowly goes up, and he says, "And what makes you think they were let in?"
No path of destruction heading to the building, and no breaking of doors or windows to get into the building. Only way they could have done that is through either some sort of secret passage or if somebody just opened the door for them.
Kind of furrows his brow and just like goes, "Hmm. Yes, it is quite peculiar. Interesting. I'm sure that the next evening the next evening that Tristan comes home, he'll probably want to pick your brain about the issue. He might tell you more than me."
Willow just kind of takes the letter back and folds it up and places it inside her coat, and she shakes her head slightly. That's part of the reason why I had to come back today, other than just checking in on you, of course. I'm going to be leaving the city for a little bit.
He looks at you again, and then, like, again, the same raised eyebrow expression. He just goes, "What are you leaving the city ever for?"
I've heard of something that might be of interest in... Let me look at those. Daggerhaven and Deepfield. Something that might help explain a couple of the ways science has broken over the past several decades.
There's a pause, and his eyes just kind of dart left and right, and he kind of just trying to see what he can garner from reading your face, and he says, "I see. So, you believe this to be maybe something more along Lorelei's lines of expertise, possibly?"
Oh, perhaps. Certain Lorelei would be interested in it, but unfortunately she's gone. But I do
He
have
nods.
a few people that will be traveling with me, so it's not like I'm going by myself.
Well, if she does return before you are back, I will be sure to give her your word and let her know that there's something interesting going on that she would want to stick her nose in. That's going on with you.
Mm-hmm. Just pause for a second. Piper, can you mute? Because we're hearing you chewing. You're good. It happens to all of us. It's like,
Mhm.
like, Willow just nods. I'm sure she'd be more than happy to tag along if she can manage to get there before we are there and gone. Or she can manage to get there before we are there and gone, at least. But I have Left instructions for Eustace from my shop, so you shouldn't need to worry about that too much, though. If I am honest, I would appreciate if you would just walk towards that side of town every now and then to make sure he hasn't burned the place down.
He nods and will, like, agree to it very casually as he is nodding, like, picking up the ledger again and saying, like, yes, I'm surprised he's still not blown himself up.
Yeah,
That's
he's
good.
capable enough in at least avoiding that much. Well, he usually looks like a walking piece of charcoal.
Very slow, nodding in agreement.
I figured I would also offer and see if there's anything that you would like me to do for the family business while I'm out that direction. I know we have a few contacts out towards Deepfield and Daggerhaven, but if there's anything you'd like to be dropped off at the very least, or picked up even.
Well, there is an unusual order we've gotten coming as of late. I believe it might have something to do with the ghoulite situation, but there's been an increase in the orders of salts and spices, specifically any sort of herbal remedy type spices. But I am starting to wonder if a bit of the hunter-based knowledge has seeped into the more mundane parts of society. We sold a good 40 pounds worth of salts in the past, probably 4 days. 2 days in the past 2 days. So if you happen to see anybody who has an excessive amount of salt that they are willing to part with, it would do us good to have it.
I'll keep my eye open for that, and of course anything else that we don't already have available. And I do apologize, I didn't think Tristan's going to be particularly happy when he comes back and hears that I'm gone.
There's a slight, like, very, very slight nod of just like, yep. I can handle Tristan. He's easy to understand in terms of his motivations.
Easy to pop the balloon, you mean?
Just ever so slightly, just a slight, like, kind of smirk, and he just, like, kind of tilts his head. But if you're on your way to go traveling off to an adventure, well, maybe if you're lucky, you'll run into Lorelei. Who knows, the world can be quite small sometimes.
Oh, I both really truly want that, and also I don't know that any of the people that I'm traveling with could handle that.
There's a kind of curious look to his face, and he's just like, that does raise the question, who are you traveling with?
A couple of hunters that, of course, are there for protection and for their own reasons. Anything that might explain what has happened. It's, of course, of interest to them, not just the clockworkers. And then, to be quite honest, I'm not quite sure what her job is. She's very pink.
So you're traveling with some hunters and someone who is notably pink. Interesting. Well, I wish you all the best on your travels. Stay safe. Do not get yourself into any trouble that you can't get yourself out of.
Oh, you do know I try. Can't promise anything, though.
I know that you try. This is why I ask you to not get into anything you can't get out of, because I know you will get into something. It is in your nature as well as Lorelei's.
And there's a little smirk, and not a nod, but just a smirk and like huff. And that's why we knew the best one to handle the family business was you.
There's a little bit of pride, and also a little bit of, like, a wounded, like, okay, fine.
She sees that and shakes her head. Don't act like you don't like it.
Then he smirks at that, and then like will nod and shrug. You've got me there. But is there anything you would need from me for this journey? Maybe extra rations or supplies or something. Lorelei tends to raid the cabinets before she leaves.
I suppose I could take a couple of extra rations and provisions along with us. I do believe one of the hunters eats like a beast, but I also imagine they're going to hunt. We'll take a
Nods.
few ingredients I think I have stashed around. Make a few extra canisters for myself. Don't anticipate on needing them, but it's always good to be prepared.
He nods, and he will like gesture not to anything in specific, but does like the hand gesture of like help yourself, and he will crack his ledger back open and say, "You're more than welcome to whatever you find to your need, within reason." Like there's a slight glance up from the ledger as if to say, like, "Don't get carried away. I'm running a business."
Willow just kind of grins. I'll leave you a list of what I take, and I imagine I'll also just leave a letter for Tristan and Lorelei should she show back up here.
He nods, and there's a soft like crinkle of the page as the ledger turns, and he just goes, "Very well, and feel free to let me know if you need anything from me specifically before you make your way off."
She nods and will like just I imagine she like occasionally is like skimming over this ledger as he is like moving it and flipping pages.
Mm-hmm.
And I imagine there's probably just like something that she sees the math for, and she kind of leans a little bit further over the table and taps it. Oh, make sure that you order some of that. I believe it's going to be needed here soon.
You point to it, and like he turns the ledger around and flips the page back, and then like thinks about it for a second. You see the slight eye twitch again, and then there's like a slow nod as he just realizes, like, okay, and then like with the acceptance that you have made a point, he will say, like, we could always use another mind behind the counter here, if you ever sought that sort of thing, whenever you get tired of watching Eustace blow himself up.
And she just kind of chuckles and shakes her head. Well, I'll get tired of it the day that he manages to actually do it. At least do it properly. But, if you ever need any help with any issues, you can always come to me. Tristan and Lorelei may be helpless with math, but I'm not.
He nods, and with a very curt gesture, he will nod to you, and then he will go back to examining the books and doing his appropriately clerical duties.
Willow will just get up and head up to her room to write the letters that she needs to write before raiding the estate. And then probably heading back to the lab to work on the couple of things that she needs to work on for the next day or two.
Cool. So I will say from raiding the estate, you can find an additional, let me think. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. I will factor in Sister Agneta, just in case. But that's 4, 5, 6. You will find 12 rations. And you will find enough bedding and sleeping gear that if you didn't already have it, you have enough for yourself and one other person to sleep comfortably.
Okay. Just gonna type this in here until I can get it into my character sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to find it right now.
But with that, I think we can wrap up this session so that next session you guys can start the journey.
Mm-hmm. I'll say that whether you want that to either happen next session or just say that it happened off screen, which I'm also cool with. Paige will inform Riley that she is leaving, and not just
Oh, yes.
disappear.
Yes, I will say that we, if you'd like, I can set aside some time and we can do a written RP of that out, or we can do that off screen, whatever you think would be good. Because I think that is totally fair. I won't
Okay.
I won't let you disappear without telling Riley.
Yeah, that'd be very bad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down for either.
Cool.
Obviously, I am an addict to text RPs.
I know.
It started with Piper.
Yeah. Consider it yourself, Joe, of like, are you going to be able to do
Yeah, are you?
Listen, that's why I said, like, okay, if I offer, I have to follow through. No ifs, ands, or buts.
No hesitation, I'm taking that offer.
Oh.